All right. Live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's 12:14 in the AM. I don't quite know why. I am streaming once again. Not much really going on. I'm just killing time before I got to feed the baby. And I was like, you know what? You know what? I don't understand Ugandan Knuckles. I don't understand it at all. So I figured, screw it. Why not? We'll rock a live thing. Let me just get this situated here. Pop out that chat there. There we go. So I can see what's going on. I just opened a shitstorm. Probably the chat's gonna be fucked the entire time, and that's fine with me. I was gonna do PUBG, so I put my phone on my thing so I could read the chat, and then PUBG's like, we're gonna take forever to download. So like you can't do it. I'm like, fuck, man. Fuck. So yeah, what's on my shirt? It's Star Wars as usual. It's 4:19 in the morning in Gibraltar. Wow, man, that's insane. 3:14. Yeah, it's fucking late, dude. It's fucking. I don't know why I do these shit. Why I'm up this late every night and shit. I didn't do anything really video wise. You guys might notice there's a curtain behind me. I got this new. You can kind of see it, like it's actually a fucking shower curtain. It's gonna be a backdrop. I ordered a custom backdrop. This is just a temporary one while I get it situated. It's almost big enough, but not big enough. Like if I zoom in on me, if I just do my face like this, I can crop it to where you don't see anything else other than that. But I got another thing coming that might be too short. I don't know. It's fucking expensive if it's too short. So there's that. So, oh, this is weird. The fucking chat's glitching out. I can't even type anything in. No, not Baby Puke. It's fucking Star Wars, man. Playing The Force Unleashed. That was a fun game. The sequel was like way too fucking short, though. Like way too short. Yeah, it's a curtain. I tried hitting up Magog, asking him for some advice on design earlier, but oh, he did get back to me on fucking Discord. My bad. So there's that. Later on, Lieutenant Dan. But yeah, so ultimately I wanted to try something new where I've got like the background of my room. Normally it's there, but it's like it gets really messy real quick. It doesn't look very good. I've been wanting to do something a little bit more professional. And so I tried this, but unfortunately, like just the way that this camera lens puts it, it's hard to see. So there's that. Abdullah's I fucked up your name, dude. Yeah, no, I played Wolfenstein 2. I beat it. It was fun. Hey, what's up, Ranting Monkey? The play Monster Hunter World. I totally will, man. I totally fucking will play Monster Hunter World when I get it. The beta comes out here pretty soon, right? So I get that shit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter. I haven't been playing many games. Like I want to. I really want to. Like I want to play on my Xbox, but it's out in the other room, hooked into my 4K TV, so I can play the 4K version of it. And then my girlfriend's like, "Well, the baby's young. I want to sleep in the living room." I'm like, "God damn it!" So, and then I don't get the time to play. It's not her fault. It's just she needs to get a job. Anyway, no. Kidding. All right, hold on here. Just going to. There we go. All right, so I sent off an invite to both Ranting Monkey and Magog if they want to cruise in and say hey. Have I had any unfortunate diaper moments yet? Yeah, I have. Not so much me as the girlfriend, but I've had a couple moments where she's peed while I'm diapering changing her. But nothing where it's been like projectile yet. I'd like to preface this by saying yet. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Anything. Anything. Why not build a set? Do I have money for a set? No, I don't even have space for a set. I really have space for a fucking curtain. So hey, what's going on, RJ Benzema? How you doing? Uppercut grandma, what, spit on Kilroy? Nah, man, Kilroy's gonna be dope. So yeah, nah, people like it's a thing. Like again, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be fun. I think the first time, but it'll be a learning experience. What is up, Magog? How are you, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Not too much. I know it's a little late on your end.
Hell yes. How's everything going, everybody? Yes. Yeah, it's no, it's not that late. 2 a.m. I mean, I'm a night owl.
Yeah, I know you're a night owl. You and I've been up talking before until it was like 4 or like 6 o'clock in the morning your time.
I do like to try to get to bed before the sun comes up because the sun coming through the window makes it hard to sleep.
That's why God invented blackout curtains.
Oh yeah, sometimes I put a blanket up in the fucking window if I stay up. Like, I'll give a prime example of staying up way so late that it just becomes the next day. Talking to Undoomed. That's just a prime. That motherfucker is an insomniac, man.
I have not gotten into a long discussion with Undoomed. I think I've been on some chats with him where it's like the end of the chat, like I get invited in, like at the tail end of like a 4-hour thing.
Oh no,
and it's usually the same comment. It's like, man, Undoomed just loves to fucking talk.
People are saying I don't know the way, and I would tell you
I don't even really know what you got.
I don't know either, man.
It just dawned on me the last night. Knuckles from Sonic. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, but it's like a retarded version of him, and people been using it to.
It's just, you know what it is? It's like those old Sonic memes from like way back in the day. Right, so all the old Sonic, it's just like I'm like, oh, I've been through this, man. Like I've been through I remember 2007 4chan, like 10 years ago, 4chan was a much different beast, and they were actually culturally relevant at the time. And now it's just a whole bunch of edgy fucking teenagers that are on like, I'm gonna put some memes in trap porn.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I know it's like a gamer meme, and people like spam Twitch streams when people are playing games, and they'll spam the chat, and they all have like the little Knuckles guy. But I don't think it would have become a real popular meme if like the SJWs hadn't come out and called it racist.
Yeah. I mean,
they made it popular by doing that.
That's how it usually happens. What's going on?
Are we talking about Dewey?
Dewey.
Do you know Dewey?
Do you know Dewey?
I spit on you.
I spit on you. Yeah, no, it's because they use the Ugandan like accent that it's racist or something. But I think it's funny, but I'm also kind of like out of touch with this modern generation of gamers, because like memes to me were like the beginnings of memes. Like, I may not have had a YouTube channel and I may not have been on the internet much, but the beginning memes for me, the memes that I remember, because I guess I'm an old man in the digital age, are the memes that were like those little quick videos that you just like, I guess you call them vines or whatever, that were just like big booty bitches, what? Those were memes, man.
Yeah, I love big booty bitches. That was great.
Those were the old memes, man. Now they're retired.
I hear like Vine 2.0 or something is coming. Like, I don't know. Well, I've been following up on this whole Logan Paul thing, and like one of the things I saw was like he'll be banned from Vine 2.0. I'm like, I don't even know, is that even a real fucking thing? Like, Vine 1.0 failed. Why would they bring it back?
Well, I think that they're going to try to kind of cash in on the, like, I think it's going to be Vine, but I think they're trying to compete with Instagram. So they're probably going to start like allowing like not just like quick little videos. They're probably going to be allowing like selfies, and they'll have different overlays, that'll like animate your eyes really big, like an anime chick and shit. They're going to probably try some shit like that. Probably.
That wouldn't surprise me, given that Twitter is in a bad place as it is financially. I did get a couple super chats here. I'm gonna look at real quick. We got one from Guide328 saying, I've seen someone spam an Overwatch chat. I'm assuming that's the Ugandan Knuckles. Yep. That doesn't surprise me at all.
That guy right there, that guy that sent you the super chat, he knows the way.
He knows Dewey. Do you know Dewey? And then Mr. DJ Fly High says it started from a Swedish YouTuber doing VR chats. Polygon made an article. I was saying it's problematic. See, I missed that article. Like, there's been so much going on recently. I feel like I'm not anywhere near caught up on like half of it. And then every day more shit happens. And then I just feel like I'm like not talking about certain stuff.
Can I ask you guys what you guys thought about YouTube's statement about Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Well, I knew there was going to be a backlash. I know that he's like one of their promoted contents. I know that he makes them lots of money, but you know good and well that it wouldn't look good on them to just ignore this situation.
Yeah. Yesterday when I covered their official response from their Twitter account, before I did the video on it, I went and checked out his profile, his page, to see whether or not certain videos were monetized still. And I was looking through his monetized videos, and I'm like, oh, dude, you're getting the same penny ads that I am, which means you're off the preferred network. And I think I said that too. I'm like, I think he's off the preferred network because his ads are shit. And then today they said, oh, we've booted him off of the Google preferred, and I'm just like, yeah, I called that shit. I called it. I'm glad they did something. I don't want this to roll downhill. I don't know if this is a place for them, if they're going to do that to us. But at the same time, I mean, ads are already crap this month anyway, so it's like whatever. But
yeah,
well, that was my problem with their statement, because they come out and we understand you guys are upset that we haven't communicated, which, by the way, was not my problem with them. My problem was they didn't act in any way after they'd been so harsh with PewDiePie over jokes. But then they come down and say, we'll never let a video like this happen again. You're not going to stop all crappy videos, but
they did let that video happen.
It got on trending.
Yeah, I mean, no, but it was flagged, and then Trusted Flagger posted a screenshot of it being reviewed and approved in the same day.
Yeah.
So, like,
acting like they never saw it is what really bothered me by it.
Yeah.
Do you really want to get into a lengthy debate? And it's cool if you guys do, but do you really want to get into a lengthy debate over the fucking monkeys with wrenches that are running YouTube right now?
I don't think there's a debate. I think they
that are running YouTube. I would call them like inbred retarded monkey.
I swear to God, if they keep fucking up like that, I'm going to start thinking they're a government operation.
It's just a disinfo campaign. It's put on by the Barack Obama led Illuminati, the shadow government that's the deep state that's trying to keep conservative voices from getting prominence on the YouTubes.
It's a Russian conspiracy.
Anything could be possible at this fucking point. I really have no idea.
I really would love it if all of YouTube, all the creators of YouTube were to just release a small video. I wish I had the power and the following to make this happen. Everybody just release on their channels, just flood YouTube with like 10-second video of everybody just going, YouTube, do you even know what the fuck you're doing? That's it. That's all I want every creator on YouTube to say. That's all I want.
I have a feeling we're going to get to a point where that's going to happen. But the thing is, though, the way they handled Logan Paul diverted it for a little bit, right? It pushed it back for a bit because it was on the verge of getting there. And like, no one really buys YouTube and their whole, oh, we were totally like unaware, you guys. Like, I mean, like they did that. We had no idea. Like no one's buying that at all. Like no one. But because they canceled him being on that foursome show on YouTube Red, which is going into like its 4th season or something. And then you've got like The Thinning 2, which is again his sequel to a big movie that was on there, which I started watching that, by the way. I got about 25 minutes in. It's like, it's interesting. It's not horrible, by the way, but it's like this one girl is like a senior in high school, and you see her trying to study for this test. Cause the whole plot line of The Thinning is every year, the United States eliminates 5% of its population. And they do this by giving students ages like 1st grade through 12th grade an aptitude test. And students that fail the aptitude test end up going and basically being thinned. They're culled from the herd. And this one girl is like, oh God, I can't study. And she's in like yoga pants and a tight top, and her boobs are too freaking big for a high schooler. And then, she starts like kind of bouncing around. I'm going like, she's going to go fuck somebody. And then the very next scene, she puts on this tight dress and goes and seduces one of the teachers. And I'm like, quality YouTube television.
That sounds like an 80s movie.
At the same time, I actually, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I mean, hell yeah. I mean, good for YouTube putting some sexual shit on there. Some fucking child fucking rape and seduction.
Well, no, because because when she fucks the teacher, like they cut away to like them in the car, and she basically just gets off his lap, and he's breathing heavy, like, oh, she's like, okay, so we're understood then, like, he's like, yeah, tomorrow you'll be fine, right? And then like by the way, they're fucking on his car on school property. She gets out of his car in broad daylight, or like at dusk maybe, and like she gets out of his car and like scoots down her skirt and like, or like just kind of readjusts her skirt, and there's another teacher there that's like watching it happen and like doesn't say anything about it. Like,
that's because he's thinking,
my turn.
Gangbang? Yeah. Gangbang? Anybody gangbang?
I mean, think about that for a second. If you are the teacher that teaches the high school seniors, and every year high school seniors are afraid they're going to die, every year it's like Matthew McConaughey from fucking what's it called, from Dazed and Confused. Like, I love high school girls, man. Every year I get older, every year they stay the same age. Like, that's it. This dude is like, just, he's gonna have a never-ending supply of that kind of thing. And YouTube YouTube popularized it, and they published it. They stand by it.
All right.
That sounds like a good vehicle for Logan Paul, actually.
What really creeps me out about Logan Paul is like the shit he pulls. Like
the fucking chat though, goddamn, that's just nothing but fucking memes.
Yeah, they're just spit. And every now and again, you'll get like some actual like, oh my god, like that's really crazy. Spit. This is
what happens when I'm all like, we got
like the worst rock. Spit.
We got like 230 people in here, and it's just all nonsense.
The worst part of this for me is, do you guys remember the video from a couple of years ago with the guy talking about they eat the poo poo? It was that every time I hear somebody, I know the way, it's like, and they eat the poo poo, and I can't get that out of I can't separate those two.
Sometimes after a while, when you delve into the far reaches of the internet, there are some things you just can't separate after a while.
Yeah,
like I cannot separate B on 4chan from like trap porn at this point. Every time I go there, it's just trap porn. Like, my brother tried to fuck with me by sending me a gif of Bailey J waving her dick around, and he sent it to my phone, and I'm at the movie theater going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I'm in line for the concession stand. There are kids everywhere, and I check my phone, and it's just Bailey J waving her cock. My first thought was, I'm like, first and foremost, like, oh, it's Bailey J, and like, I know where this is going, So he's like 20. I'm like, oh, I'm 35. You're 20. Clearly,
what's crazy? Talking about like internet age. I was on a TDY in Germany. I was doing a 4-month stint in Spangdahlem when I discovered Ray William Johnson's Equals 3.
I never got into that show.
That's how long I've been actually kind of watching YouTube. And now looking back on it, I sometimes wonder, like, unless it all explodes, what is it going to be like for us when we're like 60?
Oh, God, it's going to be, wow. We'll hear some random kid go like, hey, everyone, I was looking through the archives of the internet, and have you heard of Dab on the Haters? Like, I mean,
hey, Grandpa?
Leroy Jenkins, anyone ever heard of that? Like, that's going to be the next, like, Ray William Johnson thing. He'll be like 60 and going like, it's the remix memes.
Like my parents had to deal with me coming home from school and asking, what is sex? But my grandkids are going to come up to me like, Grandpa, what is we was kangs?
I fully expect to get my daughter one day to go, Dad, what is 2 girls, 1 cup? I'm like, oh, fuck. It's something you never want to see, man. You never want to see. Like, there are a couple things that I know about online that I will never go and look at, right? I will never go and check out. And one of them is swap.avi. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I have not.
So think of 2 girls, 1 cup. Essentially, it's the same concept. It's scat porn. But as far as I know, like the legend that precedes it essentially is it came from the Something Awful forums where they were talking about, like, there's a meme that says Brazilian girls will do anything for $500. Like, that's a meme. And the idea there is that this guy took $500 and he went to a Brazilian porn company and he basically paid them $500 for like this lesbian scat fetish film. and it's called swap.avi. And it's a classroom setting apparently. There's like, a couple girls in there. It starts off normal, like a good old lesbian scene. And on the chalkboard, they have memes written. So that it's like legitimately from this guy. And then the scat play comes. Actually, hold on. I'm on Know Your Meme right now anyway. Let me take a look and see if it's here. Swap.avi.
See, I'm old enough. The worst thing I ever saw online was a video called "I Bet You Can't Make It to the End," and it was exactly that. It's two Asian girls. I couldn't tell you where they're from, and it starts off really nice lesbian porn, and then it just gets.
It's always that lull, right?
Is this the one I'm thinking of where they start shitting on themselves in the bathtub?
No, they're not in the bathtub.
Okay. That's the one I saw.
They go straight into the mouth, and it's
Matt's just laughing at us, dude.
No, because this is the kind of conversation that's going to happen 30 years down the road, right? Because it's going to be like you and your friends who are on the internet right now. And your kids are going to be like, oh my God, that's disgusting. Or they're going to sit there and go like, oh, hey, dad or grandpa, did you ever hear about this one? And it's like two girls and like, they just, they pee on each other and they're like, pee on each other. That's it. Like, that's nothing. What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
are we going to be like old World War II vets, but just from the digital age? Like, you pussies don't know what a meme is.
You little bastards don't know what it's like.
You ever heard of Kekistan?
I can't wait till we get to the point where politicians are being called out for the stuff they've shared when they were kids.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be funny. Like, excuse me, the Republican Democrat or the Republican from Alabama. Do you remember on Facebook back in 2016 when you called someone the N-word with a hard R? Oh no, it's cool, dog. We tight. I was just calling. It's my boy. I don't know. You said you were gonna hang him by a tree. No. It's all good. It's all good. Like,
it was a prank, bro.
Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still kind of getting over a cold. I apologize.
Sound like you have a dick in your mouth.
God damn it, man. Get him, monkey. Get him.
No,
yeah. Oh, said our kids are going to be asking about Chris Chan.
Oh, Jesus.
Can you imagine your children discovering Encyclopedia Dramatica and then just like reading through it? They walk out going like, I've never seen the N-word in print so frequently in my entire life. Like, yeah, go to Chan.
Well, you know what? Like, what's crazy about it is that all the things we're like really heavy into, and especially during the Gamergate stuff, it's not even going to surprise me if I have to explain to my grandkids one day who Anita Sarkeesian is.
I don't think you'll ever have to do that.
No, I mean, she's going to run for Senate or something one day. I swear to God, she's going to be able. Like Zoe's doing it, or not Zoe.
Brianna was not going to win though. Like Brianna, like I could imagine like like crazy cat lady Brianna Wu, because eventually Frank is going to die. I think just to get away from her. He'll be like, I've had enough. And then she'll be like the crazy one on the streets going like, Gamergate killed my husband. Gamergate killed my husband.
I kind of hope she wins, though. I really do.
Oh,
no. Hold on. We've been down this path before. We cannot make those claims. All right. Like, it'd be funny if she won. No.
It would be. But see, this isn't the president. This is just a House seat, so no big deal.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, sure. It's House.
Yeah, they just help write laws. That's all.
Yeah. Well, she's going up against
no big deal.
A Democratic incumbent. She's trying to campaign against a Democratic incumbent. And the thing is, all this guy has to do is just, for one, just make an attack campaign ad on Brianna Wu that just says, "Look at her, just look at her."
Moon rocks, everybody. I win.
I want to see legislation to stop moon rocks. That's what I want.
Well, you can't. I mean, China is going to be putting a billboard on the moon here pretty soon. Not kidding. That's actual thing they're doing. They're going to be taking a billboard to the moon. In order to get basically to advertise someone's product on the billboard, like through the LCD, and then take a snapshot of it with Earth in the background. Like, that's their business model. And I'm going like, huh? I mean, can't you just go find the set that Stanley Kubrick used to film the moon landing in 1969? I mean, like,
no. That is a brilliant fucking idea. I love that. I want to see fucking Magog on the moon. I'll pay for that.
Yeah, I'd pay for if if it was cheap enough, I mean, it's the yen, right? No, that's Japan. What is the Chinese dollar? What is that called?
I can't remember.
No,
But all I know is
it's
they put a digital billboard on the moon, and 4chan autists will find out its location and hack it.
Could you know they're going to put a digital billboard on the moon, and fucking Shia LaBeouf is going to run "He Will Not Divide Us" season 8 from there. He'll piggyback on their satellite and drop his own little flag on the moon. Good luck getting it now, bitches. And then eventually, you know, somebody is going to be like, okay, if we launch this rocket from this place at this time, and we hit the atmosphere, this exact angle, and we thrust at this exact speed, we can aim it at the moon. And over the course of the next 3 weeks, it will travel there straight away. And then it will knock over the flag.
And we'll win again.
Because you know, like someone's gonna do that. Like someone is gonna figure out a way to like get out here and like launch a rocket at the moon just to destroy Shia's flag. And part of me is kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. You know,
all I can see in my head is some alien spaceship driving by, right? And they're like, "Oh, don't worry about that planet. They're minuscule. We're not even going to worry about them." And then they see the billboard and it has Shia LaBeouf on it, and they're like, "On second thought, destroy them."
Is this going to be Shia LaBeouf in Indiana Jones 4? And they're like, just, you know what? No, they've gone too far. Obliterate. I can justify.
I like the idea of
movie except that.
I like the idea of it being hacked because the shit that'll come out will be just awesome.
It's just going to be like literal dicks. Is all it's going to be. It's just
it's going to be the only 18-foot penis to ever make it to the moon.
Well, to be fair, Neil Armstrong was there, so you know
he does have a big pair of brass fucking balls right there.
I would argue, yeah, if they came to me in like 1967 or whatever, and like, you want to go to the moon, I'd be like, sure, yeah, when? Like 20 years of technology.
That's not even what they did. They walked up to him and was like, "Do you want us to strap an Acme rocket to your back and send you to the moon?"
Someone would probably be okay with that. But no, I think like the next thing is like there's going to be companies that are going to start, because localized space travel is going to open up here in the next like 20, 30 years.
For what? Where are you going to go? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why companies are doing this, because all it does, from what I watched the Virgin, you know, the company Virgin, they were going to do their space flights. And I watched their video. And the whole catch was you pay $200,000 to get a seat on this fucking thing, right? And they fly you up in an aircraft. The spaceship actually launches off the back of the aircraft. It orbits for a little bit, and then it flutters into the atmosphere like a falling leaf. So it doesn't have to go through like the heat. It doesn't have to have a heavy heat shield or anything. And that's it. That's what you pay $250,000 for. There's nowhere to go in space.
Status.
I do it.
It's a status symbol.
Yeah. Well, no, not just. I mean, if I had the money, I would do it in a heartbeat. Just to get up there.
It just to say I went to space, but we still live in a time where going to space is exciting, and to be one of the very few in all of the world's population to be outside the Earth's orbit or atmosphere is exciting. But what happens 20 years from now? We're going to space is like a passe fucking thing, you know. It's like whatever.
Well, then it's going to be the next step is going to be orgies in space, or 2 girls, 1 space capsule.
Well, I can't wait for the porn for sure.
That's going to be, you know. Do you know they actually tried crowdfunding a 0G porn?
Oh man!
A couple years ago, they tried crowdfunding it. It was going to be this. You know, they were going to shoot it over. It's going to be a couple things, because you know how they do it now, where they take the plane up and then they just free fall, right? And then you get weightlessness. Yep. Like that was going to be like the porn. It was going to be the first porn shot in 0G, and they were trying to crowdfund it. I'm just going like, for one, yeah, I'd watch it. 2, yeah, I'd watch it a couple times probably. If anything, for like the technical nature of it. It's like, you know, because some like sometimes I watch like Cinemax movies for the plot. You know, it's just, I've done that before. I'm like, oh, this is kind of an interesting story.
There's actually some really funny ones, actually.
I will no. If you watch Pirates, the porno from 2007,
the
$1 million pirate porno, I actually have watched the R-rated version of that, because they took out all the sex scenes. Well, most of the sex scenes,
right?
And I watched it because it was like a legitimately fun movie. And I'm like, oh, cool. They spent $1 million on it. Like they're going to have to get a return somewhere. But I'm like, why not just invest into like doing these kind of spectacle films that you can then, you know, get out to different markets? It's like when I was younger, striptease came out. That was a big thing. Demi Moore striptease. Like, oh my God.
That's actually a good movie too, though.
It is actually a really good movie. You don't think it's going to be a good movie. Burt Reynolds fucking stole every scene he was in that movie.
The fucking Vaseline in his boots.
Oh
The
yeah.
Vaseline in his fucking cowboy boots. I love that movie.
It's just the whole thing. It's really it's a you know, it's an erotic comedy. I don't know, maybe not erotic, but it's
No, it only had like 2 nude scenes in it.
yeah, no, but then it's like, you know, you're watching it, they're like, oh, Demi Moore. It's like I think the hype around striptease is what led into Showgirl. Or Showgirls. I think that movie with Elizabeth Berkley that like no one admitted to going to see in the theater, and ultimately no one did go and see the NC-17 movie.
It was a failure, but then I finally turned around and watched it, and I was like, actually, plot wise, it wasn't a terrible movie either.
No, not at all. I think I own it on DVD somewhere. I bought it a long time ago.
I mean, yeah, she fucks some dudes in that fucking movie and whatever, but the plot line is actually all about getting, wrapped up in the more corrupt side of like Las Vegas, show like show events and stuff. It's kind of a mini corrupt Hollywood,
Oh yeah, no, Vegas will really kind of fuck you up. I do want to quickly stop. I got a couple super chats that I missed. I do apologize here. I'm an asshole. I hate when I'm an asshole in this. We got $2 from Jack Barnhart saying the only meme I know of is Jarboism. My religion is not a meme. It is a way of life and soon to take over the entire planet. So when that day comes, Jack, the reckoning will fall upon you like a gigantic fucking hammer. Rain123 says Darkside Phil knows the way.
Yep.
Darkside Phil also knows what it's like to get caught masturbating with a live stream. And I feel bad because he's the only motherfucker who will gratify himself on stream and didn't get tips.
Wow.
Well, no, think about it. You could go to like My Free Cams and just be all like, oh, wow. Oh, my God, this game.
Speaking of old internet, I never partook in this, but I definitely had some friends who had horrible experiences. Do you guys remember chat roulette?
I do. Yeah, we'll talk about chat roulette real quick. I got a couple more quick super chats to get through. I just want to make sure everyone's caught up, though. James Caldy, $5 says, is cereal soup, and how do you feel about tongue-buttered turtle caves?
Who was that? Oh, that was James? James, I love you. James, I love you.
James who?
Those are memes from my stream show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, that's I see you pop on. I don't always get the chance to check it out. So I guess those are memes. Can you answer as cereal soup then?
Yes, cereal is soup. It's breakfast soup.
Okay. And then tongue buttered turtle caves.
Scribe Light came up with that euphemism for licking buttholes, and I am absolutely against licking ass. I'm just throwing that out.
Okay, so you're entirely not at all into butt play.
You don't lick butts. You just don't. No.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, but what if it hit like a wet nap to it first?
But what if
I'm just saying, like, what if they clean, like, because you watch this in porn, clearly something about it is not, I mean, like, you watch a porn and like they will straight up like just ass to mouth, and none of the girls ever come back with like fucking septic insides.
Yeah, have you ever seen those girls after like 6 or 7 movies? They don't look healthy.
Well, no, but that's, I think also
it's ass to mouth. That's what does it. I'm convinced. You don't lick.
All I'm saying is I had a buddy in the military who named his dog Rim Job because he wouldn't stop licking his own ass. So.
I just think of those.
The dog wouldn't stop licking the dog's own ass, or the dog wouldn't stop licking your friend's ass, because you do need
dog's own ass. He literally would not just like that dog was addicted to its own ass. So he literally just ever since it was a puppy. So he literally just named it Rim Job. Can you imagine coming home and be like, Rim Job, I'm home.
It's different if it's
come here, boy. Come here, Rim Job.
All right, so we got potato chips super chats here from Jack Barnhart himself.
Okay, let me sneak this in real quick.
All right,
they had those Lay's potato chips, and they had anal leakage as one of their side effects to eating.
Oh, it was the Olean. It was the Olean.
Yes.
Yeah, the Olean. Anal leakage was a side effect of that. Yeah, I never took it. As
long as anal leakage is a thing, I am not licking ass. I'm just not.
You want to get out of the pool there, Bob?
You're just afraid of the prolapsed anus, dude. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're good. I'm just saying, put some dental dam on that shit.
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah, like, dude, lesbians haven't eaten ass for a long time. I mean, think about it. With lesbians, they go to town on each other. You have half an inch between fucking playpen and a sewage dump. You put some fucking saran wrap down on that shit, and then there you go. Right?
Saran wrapped for your protection.
I'm just saying, you could sit there, you could go tongue deep and not have a problem, provided there's slack.
What is this stream degraded into?
I'm just the finer elements of analingus again.
There you go.
That's the
Finish
thing.
reading your fucking super chat.
Okay, so sorry. We got 4 here from Jack Barnhart saying Jarboism is not a place, it's a people. Okay, I'll agree. Matt will be the grandpa who starts every story with "It was blank year and blank movie just came out in theaters." That is true. That is absolutely true. I do that a lot because I spent 14 years working in movie theater. So my entire life boiled around or just revolved around movies. So if you're like, oh, when did this movie come out? Or like, or when did this event in your life happen? I'll have to think back. Okay, it was this time and this. Like, you know, the first night I worked at the drive-in, which is where I was at for most of my time, was June 15th, 2001. We had just opened Shrek with Tomb Raider playing together. So it's like, I remember that kind of stuff. And then for $3, Jack says, hammer me, Jarbo. Jack, we've talked about this later.
Jackhammer that fucking asshole, man.
He wants the dental dam. And then he says, I'm kind of tired. Sorry. No, you're not. No, you're not. Dude. I'm just saying right now you were probably alone not wearing pants, and that's entirely your prerogative. You know, and then Reverend Satan says, and those are the friends you make in the military. Gotta love barrack buddies, obviously in reference to your friend naming his dog Rimjob.
Yeah, we all have military people have their own brand of sense of humor.
I think you have to be in the military, to be honest with you. I think having a sense of humor is ultimately because I mean, you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So
like when my buddy's truck got blown up with an IED, and he fucking lived through it. He went to the hospital and everything. He got checked out. He got medevaced out. And then the colonel come in to give him his little, award and everything. And the colonel was there, full bird colonel, And you know how colonels are, officers, they're not out on the road. They're not getting blown up. They're safe in an office, running things. So this colonel got curious, was talking to my friend, and he said, what did it feel like? And my friend, without skipping a beat, went, sir, it didn't feel like a blowjob. That's what you say after you get blown up from in a fucking truck and you survive. That didn't feel like a blowjob.
Yeah, that would be something. I mean, I don't know what else you'd say to that. It's like, well, I mean, definitely did not feel like a blowjob.
Oh, I could tell some stories. One of my favorite stories from the military is what one starstruck young airman from Texas said when he met George W. Bush. When we all lined up and we met the president, I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget it. This fucking kid, he must have been starstruck being from Texas, Bush being governor and everything. He's walking down the line, just airman. How you doing, airman? Airman. He gets to me. I'm wearing my name tag. He says my name, Airman Magog. It's not my real name, folks. I'm not doxing myself on Matt's stream. And I said, oh, shit, he knows my name.
Dox yourself on your own damn stream.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was, Mr. President, he's like, you got an accent. Where are you from? I said, I'm from Arkansas, sir. He goes, Bill Clinton country. I know him. Yes, sir. I'm from Texas. Yes, sir. So he moves on down the line, meeting all the airmen. Gets to the end. Here's this kid from Texas. Wide-eyed little kid, fucking brand new airman, fresh out of basic. Shakes this kid's hand. He says, Airman? And that kid just went, hey, George. And the colonel, our wing commander, who was like literally the commander of the entire base, her jaw hit the fucking floor. Did you just call our commander in chief George? Nice. Everybody in line was like holding back laughter. We were like, trying not to laugh. He just shook his head and laughed and walked away. And the day went on. Next time I saw that airman, he had absolutely no stripes on his arm.
Yeah.
She knocked him down 2 ranks for saying George to the commander in chief. I'm sorry, you're in the military. I don't care if you like the president or hate the president. You don't call them by their first name.
No. I mean, obviously, you don't. It's there's a level. There's a bit of a respect there you have to follow. But yeah, man, that's what I think would happen to me in the military. Is I would say something stupid, and then end up just getting myself in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, but you know what? One of the things that to kind of bring it back to movies and stuff, because that's what we talk about when I'm on with Matt, and when I being in the military changes your perspective on some things, but it really also ruins movies sometimes because of
Oh God.
continuity issues. Like I can't believe how many movies I've watched that were like military movies, or at least movies that had some military in it, where I'm like, that ain't right. That rank's not right. Why are they wearing their cover indoors? Why are they saluting this motherfucker? Like, you don't salute indoors, you know? Like, I'm sitting here with the regulations burned into my brain, and I can't get those thoughts out of my head when I'm watching a fucking movie.
My dad was a firefighter in the Navy, so I couldn't watch Backdraft with him because he fucking ruined it the whole time. That's not what you would do. And the movie Navy SEALs, which I was so excited to go see because my friend, his dad was actually an extra in the background at one point. They shot it on his dad's ship. Sitting there watching it with my dad, I had to get up and leave because that's not right. They wouldn't do that. I'm like, Dad, it's a fucking movie. Just stop. Just shh. And yeah, he just couldn't keep it in.
Oh yeah,
it's when you work on movies, it's the same thing. When you work on movies and you see continuity problems or poor directing or poor acting, and you're like, how is this the take they used?
Right.
You know, like how did they not fuck this up? Well, one of my favorite things though actually was when you worked for, so you're not going to get this anymore, but when you had 35 millimeter projectors and you had 35 millimeter print, you would actually end up being able to see a little bit of extra stuff if you looked closely. So films come in either a scope or a flat print, right? And so it requires two different lenses. So like a scope lens is like when you go to the theater and like it kind of the side of the screen kind of comes in a little bit, like a curtain comes in. That's a scope. It's just a little bit smaller. And then you have your that's a flat. Sorry, your scope is more of a wider frame. Anyway, at the above, so what it is you have to go through a whole setup process for every movie. You have to basically kind of reset the projector, make sure that everything is lined up, the brackets are lined up, and everything's kind of wound to a certain place. But it gives you a little bit of wiggle room in order to adjust the frame if you happen to make a mistake, right? On lining up where the frame is. So sometimes you would be able to see extras that were above where the film or what you see on the screen. So you ever seen the movie Bring It On?
Oh yeah.
No, I never watched that. Sorry.
But you're missing out. It's actually a pretty fun movie. It's also a bunch of hot like high school chicks. Came out when I was in high school, so fuck it. But the point is, like, there's in the very beginning of the movie, Kirsten Dunst is doing this whole song, like this whole dance number, and then she ends up like her top flies off and she's like, oh my God, I'm naked. Well, at that moment in the movie, you could actually like adjust up the frame and you could see the tape on her boobs.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was there in the frame we had, but it wasn't something that the audience would see. I don't know why this was there, to be honest with you, but we were watching Shia LaBeouf's movie Disturbia back in 2007. And I was apparently I fucked up one night framing it because again we're doing this like super fast, and so sometimes there are mistakes depending if it's like if you don't get the framing just right, and so we get to a scene and you literally see a boom pole like in so many shots. You see the boom pole and like the boom mic and everything else, and I'm like, how did this make it in the movie? And then we realized that we had it too high.
Right.
So once we lowered it down and got it back into its right frame, then you couldn't see it anymore. But yeah, you could actually see those anymore. But now that they've got digital projectors and everything is locked and loaded like that, you're never going to have that again.
Well, you know what's funny is then there's the continuity issues that actually make it into the film that nobody even thought about because they're such a little thing. Like I remember watching A Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful film. I love that film. But there's a scene in that movie where she's in this tractor trailer and it's going down the bridge and she's pumping the brakes, right? Right? She's pumping the brakes to stop it because she's losing control of it going down the hill, right? It's at the end of the movie when she's getting in that last firefight with the bad guys. And the camera literally goes under the truck and shows the fucking hydraulic fluid spewing. Anybody who's driven a tractor trailer knows that it uses air brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes, okay, I can explain that in the sense that some things like when they do an adaptation of a comic book or a book or whatever, certain things don't translate well to the screen. The audience has to see that there is a problem. If you're like, oh no, the air brakes are out, it's going to be like, okay. you know. But if the hydraulic fluid is going everywhere, then the audience will see that as natural.
You know what happens when air brakes go out? It's the opposite of hydraulic brakes.
They just
Like with hydraulic brakes, when you push the brake pedal, it pushes the hydraulic fluid to the brake pads. The brake pads close on the disc on your rotor, and it slows your car down. Air brakes are the opposite. They're actually locked on the disc, so you can't move. When you hit the brake, it releases the air pressure, and the discs, using a spring system, come undone and let the rotor move. So if you lose air, your truck literally locks up. The tires lock up. The brake pads lock up. It's opposite of a hydraulic brake system.
Okay.
So in that movie, she still could have lost control. You know, like they could have hit an airline or one of the air tanks and it lost all its air or whatever and couldn't have air in the tanks and in the lines anymore. But what would have happened is, instead of her like pumping the brakes trying to stop it, she would have been hitting a pedal that was stiff as shit. And it would have just skid down, tires not moving. It would have just skid down the hill. It would have, you know.
No, I get that. I get that. That's it's just, I think it's just more of a design issue or a production issue.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in movies before where trucks have done that, but I'm kind of with Matt on this, because if you don't know that about trucks and all you know is your regular brakes, the quick way to get that to the audience is the brake line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because for your layman, they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You can't use your brakes anymore.
And yes, I know I made a mistake saying rotors on the air brakes, because I know they use drums. But
you
know, so I know that the fuck ups can happen when you're a producer of a movie. You're not worried about little continuity issues, but don't they have?
Don't know the way.
They have well, the thing is, though, continuity from what you see on scene versus what is realistic are two different things. The script supervisor is the person who watches the scene, and they take notes about which take things are on, and where things were, in order to have continuity. A good scripty can pays attention to everything and very much, you know, keeps it going. And so that's why you want to have one of those on set. What's funny, though, is you say Long Kiss Goodnight. That was actually directed by Rennie Harlan.
Yeah.
Who did, you know, obviously he did Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger. And the guy is a good director, not so much anymore. But he did a movie in 2012 called Devil's Pass. I don't know if anyone here has seen it.
Yeah, that's on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I actually worked on it.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was actually brought in to be the viral marketing manager of that movie.
Are you in the credits?
I am not in the credits. I was actually let go of the project after working on it for about probably 2-3 months. Essentially what happened was I had answered a Craigslist ad that was they wanted a social media manager to make this one documentary about mailmen going postal. They wanted to go viral, right? But they had no budget for it to go viral. And I told them, like, there's literally nothing I can do to make this thing go viral,
right?
Unless you have a budget. Like, this is gotta keep in mind, this is back in LA when viral was the new buzzword, right?
Right.
When viral just, it wasn't like someone has herpes, shit, back off. It's like, no, this is like the thing. But people didn't have a budget for anything. They didn't know how it worked. And so I was explaining to them, like, this is, you know, whatever. But they brought me in to interview, to be kind of the Facebook manager for this production company. And I sat in the boardroom. I met with the head of every department, and we talked for like an hour and a half, which is really unheard of in LA, to interview for like an hour and a half. And then they called me the next day and they asked me to read this script and asked me to formulate a plan of attack for social media marketing and everything else. So I read the script. It actually was Devil's Pass. And I went in there and I pitched them on this idea, and they actually brought me on. To give you an idea of how bad it was, and how, I guess, or maybe how stupid I was, they were paying me like $12 an hour, and they didn't want me to work more than like 5 hours a week.
Oh, wow.
Right. And the thing is, though, like, the budget on Devil's Pass is only like $4 million, and they were shooting in the Ural Mountains in Russia, where the actual Dyatlov Pass is.
Right.
So it was a Russian financed movie. These guys had a lot of Russian backers. So I guess you could say at some point in the last 10 years, I have in fact worked for the Russians. But
by proxy.
By proxy. I was actually trying to talk to them about sending me to Russia to oversee the behind the scenes footage myself. Because the idea there, essentially, if you've seen Devil's Pass, these kids go missing, they have video cameras, as point of view found footage. And then the camera gets found, the footage gets uploaded online. by a conspiracy website called, and I shit you not, conspiraleaks.com. And that was by the writer. I actually went out and bought the domain name for that. I don't have it anymore, but I bought the domain name for it. Like, I paid for it out of my own money, you know, and everything else. And so they ended up, you know, they wanted to, like, my idea was, let's pitch this movie as having like a solid, like, viral campaign here. Like, we'll create behind the scenes footage when you guys are shooting. We'll put it up online. We'll kind of tease the audience. Cause I'm thinking, like, you know, Cloverfield did this, Blair Witch Project did this, with the right, you know, marketing campaign online, as well as the fact that it has to do with this actual urban legend. We could actually find ourselves doing pretty well with it. And then with Rennie Harlan directing, it's like, shit, this is a fucking good situation. So I pitch him on the idea for shooting behind the scenes footage. They go out, they shoot the behind the scenes footage. I actually got all of their footage still. That's like no one's ever seen on my old hard drive. And then so they get the first cut of the movie done. It's around June 2012 at this point. And they call me up and they wanted me to go meet them at their office to watch it. So I go and I watch the movie, and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And like, I mean, like, there's things that, like, a person who doesn't shoot point of view found footage is not going to understand the you know, how to shoot these scenes. And so there's a scene with like two people at a campfire that literally they just sat the camera down for like 5 minutes and said, talk. And like, that's the scene. And I'm like, oh, you can't do that. Like, it's people are going to get bored. And ultimately, I told them how I really felt, which was not the right thing to say. And so, because the next day they fired me.
Yep.
And so the movie came out on Netflix, I think about probably 2 years later. It was, I think I saw it in 2014, and I saw, you know, I watched the full cut, and it was a little bit better. They had tightened it up a little bit. But at the same time, I'm just like, man, you fucker should have like let me do this thing, because I would have made it fucking awesome.
Now, the only thing I know really personally about Russians, besides what I hear in the news, is that it's because of Russians that I tried cocaine for the first and only time in my life.
How's that?
Because when you're at a strip club in Germany, just enjoying yourself, and two Russian guys with tattoos, and one of them is missing 2 fingers, come over to you and tell you to do cocaine and drink vodka with them, you do cocaine and drink vodka with them. You don't say no.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I totally get that. I understand you would probably want to not piss these guys off.
Yes, comrade.
We like you. You come drink with us. Yes, sir.
I had a buddy of mine that lived in Costa Rica, and apparently a guy that they knew had rented out the Nicaraguan embassy, because they moved embassies, and so they still had the old one. And so literally they rented out the Nicaraguan embassy, and it was right next to the Russian embassy. And so they'd hang out with the Russian guys, and then they hired a few of them away to be security for them. And they got into some serious shit, like lots of drugs, lots of craziness and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, Russians, man, they don't fuck around. They do not fuck around.
Oh man, you want to hear a cool story? My friend's not Russian, but he learned Russian because of his job. And I asked him one day, why you learn Russian for your job? Because you're a repo man. He goes and gets people's cars when they haven't made their payments and shit, right? Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes for repo men, that job's kind of difficult. You show up at somebody's house 2 a.m. and you're about to take their car away. They'll come out with guns. You know, like, that's a fucking job right there, right? So I'm talking to my friend, and he's telling me I learned Russian. And he had all these tattoos and everything, too. And he's a bald guy, kind of shorter than me, but I'm 6'3", so I'm a giant. Anyway, stout-looking dude, you know, bald, had tattoos, and he learned Russian. And sure enough, believe it or not, speaking Russian to somebody who's come out of their house to stop you from taking their repo car will de-escalate a situation.
Screw it.
There's just something kind of scary about the Russian language coming from like a tattooed, bald, stout motherfucker that works out every day. You know, like, he comes up to get a car, you know, and he's opening up the door. They're like, hey, get away from my car. And he's like, you know, and then he fucking fires off some Russian at the guy, and the guy backs up. Okay, man. Okay. You know, like, and what's funny is the stuff he said to people was like, have you tried that restaurant? You know, like, he wasn't even.
I feel like you could fake that, though.
Yeah, I think you probably could too. If you know, it's all about the delivery and how intense it is.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, especially when you're talking to people like that. If it's like, you know, Russian or German, Japanese or Klingon, people are like, however hard you come at it, people are going to be like, holy shit, you know? Because I mean, think about it. I mean, honestly, Japanese is like a super freaking angry language.
Well, it depends on who's speaking it, because if it's like some K-pop little girls, it's not really that
Yeah, but
intimidating.
K-pop is Korean, man. You're thinking J-pop. Come on, get your fucking pops right.
Whatever.
Okay.
K-pop,
No,
K-pop,
you're fucked. No, you fucked up. You fucked up.
Japan. But all I'm saying is I watch some of these animes and I'm like, okay, these bitches don't even sound threatening until you get that one motherfucker who looks like a samurai and he's got scars on his face and one of his eyes is whited out and he's like, and you're like, damn, that's terrifying.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they get really angry. You know, like, oh, like the way that the inflection hits, and you're like, oh man, he's like super fucking pissed off. And then in reality, he's just saying like, hello.
Right.
it's just really ridiculous how you know, how it sounds to people that aren't accustomed to it. But if you want to fuck with somebody, just get someone like start dropping like that. It could be even fake language, but just all about the inflection, and it'd be a lot of fun.
I used to work at Walmart, and there was a guy there. He was an old World War II vet who learned German in World War II. And he'd worked in the electronics department, and they had to move him because when kids would come in there and they would, you know, even if they were being nice, if they weren't accompanied by an adult, he would start screaming at them in German. So they made him a door greeter instead, where he did it to everyone.
I think that's yeah. Fucking people at work is always great.
Well, who was the comedian that said I couldn't be a door greeter at Walmart because I'd say the same thing to people? Welcome to Walmart. Get your shit and get out.
Oh, that's Jeff Dunham with his one puppet.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, when I used to work at the drive-in, I had a take no shit attitude, and it worked out really well, especially when you could like threaten to call the cops on people, and then like they wouldn't believe you, and so you would. I had such a good working relationship with the local sheriff because we never had to call them unless there was an actual reason, right? Like because we kept things in control. Like, you know, they didn't feel the need to like hang outside of our theater to catch the drunk drivers. They didn't feel the need to hang around and hassle our people, right? Like they were like, okay, the driving people, they're cool, they got it under control. But if we called them, they were there in like less than 5 minutes. Right. Like if they got a call from us, like, oh, okay, then we have to show up. And so like sometimes people get like super indignant. They wouldn't do what I tell them to do, which is usually just move your car to a different fucking spot. And it would escalate. Because people think like they can take their aggression out on me. And then I'm just going like, yeah, you can try. Because it would get really bad. So then ultimately I'd end up sometimes having to call the cops on them, which is always a lot of fun because I would really mess with them. But how I'd get to that point, though, this is my usual how I would end an argument. I would get like real close, drop my voice, look real intently at them and say, listen, this is going to go down one of two ways. One, you do what I say, you move your car, you watch your movie, you have a good night, you go home. Two, you don't do what I say, you're going to fight me. I'm going to tell you to leave. You're going to fight me on that. I'm going to call the cops. They'll be here in 5 minutes and they'll throw your ass out. Either way, I win. The question is, how much fun do I get to have?
Right.
And I mean, I would like fucking nail that. Like I had it. It's been a long time since I've done it, but I mean, I had it like locked down and people would be like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. You know, like we were like hated by a lot of people who would come to the theater pretty often because my staff didn't take any shit. And then I left and I moved to Hollywood and I come back and the other guy, oh my God, everyone there was just smoking pot like all the fucking time. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck you guys doing? You ruined my ship. I had this place locked down.
Yeah, at least you got the privilege of working at a drive-in. I don't think I've ever been to a drive-in because they're all gone.
Oh, dude, I saw the original Star Wars at a drive-in. That's how fucking old I am.
No, we had one about 2.5 miles from where I lived down there in San Diego. And I just, one night I'm down there with my friends watching The Mummy Returns and Swordfish and trying to avoid my friend losing his virginity in the back of the car. That was an odd night.
always
Because seriously, we were in like a fucking Mazda 323, which is not a big car. And my friend and his girlfriend were getting it onto the back seat. Like we're around like 200 cars. And you know, it's May and it's like the windows are down and like they're fucking and it's like why are we here? You know, then of course they finish and then she like takes off the condom and puts it in between us and goes like, what do I do with this thing? Like, fuck, get the fucking window. Jesus Christ, get it away from me.
What the fuck, man?
Right.
I would have made shit very uncomfortable.
These were like, I forget if they were, I think they were 18. They were young. We did make it uncomfortable, by the way. We very much made it uncomfortable.
I would have turned around with this big shit-eating grin on my face and just stared at
him.
No.
Well, no, because my buddy who had just lost his virginity, so we weren't going to stop him from losing his virginity. When she positioned herself off of him, when she went to get off him, she slipped and her fucking knee just went right on his balls.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking 2 minutes post-coitus or post-coitus, and then he just got kneed in the groin. And then so he starts kind of crying, which is pretty funny. And then
you're telling me he lost his virginity to a literal ball buster.
Yeah, pretty much. And then no, but then that happened again about 20 minutes later because my other friend who was there in the driver's seat, the girl, her name is Shauna, she's laying on like her head on his lap in the back seat, and my buddy David was kind of tugging on her arm from the driver's seat, and she's like, you know, doing that, no, let go. So we let go, and then her elbow just went back and just nailed my buddy again in the balls. You know, yeah. So he got it. Yeah, ball busted twice that night. I looked at that as pure karmic justice. But
I got a question. All right, I got a question. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good.
Because this is an important fucking question. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's more painful to get like flat out hit in the balls, or do you think it's more painful that when they just like knock the tip?
It's the grazing. The graze hit is the worst.
Yeah.
You guys agree with that? Because some of my friends are like, hell no. The balls getting kicked in the balls, it hurts more than just the tip getting whacked. I'm like, I don't know about that, fellas.
No, man. And if your friend ever says that it hurts more, just flick him in the testicles.
Just flick him. Don't even. The worst part about the graze is that you don't feel it at first. You got that moment of, that's not going to hurt, and then it's like somebody's trying to pull your insides out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it feels really weird, and it reverberates through your other testicle.
Yeah,
and then, like into your groin, so you feel this really like uneven, like kind of weird tingle. It's not that it hurts; it's that it's just super fucking uncomfortable for a long period of time, and that's ultimately like, you know. So yeah, I think it's worse than getting just straight kicked in the balls, which is definitely no bueno. But this is getting grazed is way worse. Way fucking worse.
See, I like to talk about these existential philosophical topics.
Here's a question because someone asked, Ken of Darkness says this in the chat. Have you ever sat on your own nuts? Here's my question. Have you ever sat, this is for, obviously for the guys. Have you ever sat on your wallet for so long that it made your leg fall asleep, including that one testicle on that side? Have you ever had one of your balls fall asleep?
Nope, I can't say I did because I'm not a fucking idiot. I don't put my wallet in my back pocket.
That's like
why I don't do it. Yeah.
Weirdest fucking feelings though, when like one of your balls is asleep.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was possible because, you know, like you'd have to put some pressure, and I don't like pressure on my balls in any way. And that's not the reason I don't put my wallet in my back pocket. I've always thought it was stupid because that's literally the best way for somebody to pick your pocket.
Well, when I was growing up, that's just what you did. You stuck it in your back pocket. I carry it in my jacket pocket now, but
yeah. But I mean, that is if you've ever had one testicle go numb, you've definitely got a story to tell in life, because I don't think that's typical. But I don't think I've ever sat on my nuts because I'm not exactly an old man. They're not hanging down that low, damn it, you know, where you sit down. But I have sat down in an awkward way and pushed them together, and they clanked like two fucking balls on a Newton's cradle, you know?
My favorite that story comes from when I worked at Walmart. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for this. I had to hear it all secondhand. This old guy goes into the bathroom and somehow, I have no idea how, got his nuts stuck between the toilet and the toilet seat.
Oh, what the fuck? How do you even do that?
I don't know. And he starts screaming. So his wife comes in, but she will not help him. She, instead of helping her husband out, she goes and gets a manager, and she gets this manager that everyone hated, who had to go in there and physically slide his balls over so he could get off the toilet seat. Oh,
Ah.
little one. I'm going to turn into a grandpa here. Oh my gosh. Oh, so
Oh, there
cute.
she
Yeah, I
is.
had to go get her. She was fussing. My girlfriend wanted to sleep.
Oh, she's so
there she
little.
is.
Yeah, this is here, I'll show you guys. This is Madison.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
Madison.
Hi, Madison.
She's like, there's too many fucking bright lights.
What is this?
So, yeah.
What,
She's
what is this? What am I in heaven already? What is this
she's
bright light?
5.5 weeks old almost. I don't even know what date it is right now. She's like,
Full
yeah,
head of
5.5
hair.
weeks old.
Full head of hair.
Hair. I know, look at the hair, right? Look at the hair. Yeah, she is. She came out with a lot of hair. It was very interesting.
We've all had good years for family. At least I have, and you man, you got a baby. My nephew just finished his last round of chemo. He is done. He
Oh,
is in
cool.
remission. You know, the brain tumor is gone. They got it out successfully. Just been a good year for the family stuff.
That's good, man.
That's
Yeah. I mean it's crazy like having a daughter because it's just weird. So
Were you expecting a son?
no, I've known that we were gonna have her since I want to say like June. At first I was all like, yeah, I wanted a boy. But then you know, once you have a
Right.
daughter, you're kind of just like, oh, she's
Well, I'm not saying you're not going to love your daughter, but you wanted a, I think it's like default. Men just want sons.
well, men
I
want to pass
didn't.
on their bloodline. Like they want to pass on their name, you know. So
Right.
When we first found out we were having a baby, I wanted a girl, and it's probably because my mom always wanted girls and never got them. And so yeah, when we found out it was a girl, I was ecstatic. And then when the granddaughter came around, it was like doubly so, because you have this cute little baby that when it starts crying, you can get back to her damn mom. I get all the fun parts of it now. But yeah,
Right.
I was never. I have two boys, but I was never one of the, I want to pass on my bloodline. I don't care.
well, I mean, like I like my last name, and so I don't want to see it like, devolve and go away, right? You go extinct or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, at the same
Well,
time, it's like she's really cool and she's a very chill baby. I don't know. She likes to be set up like this quite a bit. So that's why she's not being fussy, but that could change anytime.
my
Right.
grandma had 7 boys, so there's not much of a chance of my last name going extinct.
Oh, okay.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
ton of us out there.
Yeah, I've got two other brothers with my last name. I don't know if either of them are ever gonna get married, or have a kid or whatever, but they're young enough.
As far as my branch of my family, my brother had 2 boys. I have 2 nephews. And so it's pretty secure. But if that ever changed, like if they ever grew up, got married, and all they have is daughters, and I never have kids, and my sister never have kids, my dad was still the youngest of 8.
Oh
When
wow.
he was born, he had sisters that were already married and having kids.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I'm the eldest of 7, so
Oh,
I get
wow.
that. But from
Jeez.
the other end, I get that.
Yeah, so like the bloodline is secure through my extended family, on my dad's side for sure, because that's where the name is. But all his sisters and brothers, I mean, they had kids and then they had kids. I have cousins I ain't never met before, man. That's a big ass family tree.
I do
Gabriel in chat says no kids and I'm too old to start now. Tony Randall had kids when he was 72. Go give it a try.
the best part about having kids is the making part.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Just remember, if you want it to take longer, boil your testicles. What's up?
Hey, Suit Yourself is in the chat.
Hey, Suit, how you doing, bud?
I have a quick thing to tell him. I meant to message him.
If you want, send him a message. Send him the link to get in.
Yeah, if he wants to come in and talk. But dude,
I mean,
if
he's on that Australian internet, so we have no idea how well that's going to work out.
right. But I meant to send him in. We're working on a collab right now, and I wrote the script because I had a cold and I lost my voice. It just came back yesterday, and then I did that stream, and that actually kind of killed my voice after I got off with you, Matt and Beardy. I was like, "Ugh."
DKJ Spec wants to know how much we have to super chat to get Madison to say the 14 words.
Oh God.
Well, there's a running gag on my streams where if people want me to say the 14 words, it's $50.
Oh wow, nice.
I got and I have, and trust me, I've hit it. I've hit it like 4 or 5 times now. People have fucking paid. I made the mistake of not clarifying one time that this is American money, and someone did it in Canadian, so it was only like $38, right? So I was like, "Oh, you guys got me," but no, that's a running gag when I was doing streams.
Do you know what I do on my channel for money on streams?
I don't know.
For $20, when it's on my channel, my wife will come over and pinch my nipples, and people get to hear me scream.
That is some real 50 Shades of Grey shit right there, man.
I did something similar for a while on SideQuest, but we had to put a stop to it. Because basically, like the way SideQuest is lined up, we have health bars, and our picture changes every time we take damage. It's just like the old D&D games where you eventually turn into like a skeleton and die. You know, your little picture of your guy. And so we have that all set up, and me, Beardy, and Vamp are doing, SideQuest. Well, as a joke, because what was meant to happen was every time there was like a really bad story or something made us cringe, eventually turn into like a skeleton and die. You know, your little picture of your guy.
There you go.
And so we have that all set up, and me, Beardy, and Vamp are doing
I've got to turn off the fucking stream in the background.
Yep. But goddamn, I hate my own voice. But basically, our chat figured out that they could kill us with super chats.
Oh,
and so they'd literally be like, "Here's $20. You all take 9,000 ass rape damage." And so I'd have to like hit all the buttons to change the health, and we were all screaming and shit like we just took a big dildo up the ass. We had to put a stop to that. It got annoying. What's up, Sue?
Say Madison. Madison is adorable.
Yeah, she's very pretty. She's also wide awake, and it's like 1:30 in the morning. Usually she's passed out by now. So she's
going to start her own YouTube channel, Mundane Madison.
We actually chose her name because it's very similar to Matt. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
We actually chose her name about probably 12 hours before she was born.
So you're gonna be like George Foreman and name all your kids after you?
No, God, no. No, but I might if we have a boy, we're gonna probably name him Logan Matthew. So
oh my God.
I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even kidding you. That name came to my girlfriend right after we went and saw Logan. So if we have a boy, I hope we named after freaking Wolverine, and I am on board with that. So
yeah, so was a family member of mine. It's not a first name, it's a middle name, but there's definitely a Logan.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. You know how many? There's lots of kids out there that are actually named like Khaleesi.
Oh yeah,
like it was a popular name for a while. So I have yet to meet a child named Khaleesi, which is just also interesting because like you're naming your kid after a name of or it's like a job title versus an actual name.
Right.
Indeed.
Have you ever met anybody who like hated their name because their parents gave them an awful name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to hate my name when I was young. my real name, and this is out there, so no big deal. My name is Frank, and my real name is Francis. And the worst part of that name was in 7th grade. My English teacher's reading, they do the first roll call of the year, and she gets to my name. And she goes, Francis, that's my name too. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a rough year. This is going to be a rough
Oh, yeah.
I'm just waiting for mine to come out because a certain little alien knows my name and photo. So I'm waiting for that to drop.
Oh, yeah.
But you always do what I did, which is just beat him to the punch.
Yep.
I was thinking about doing that. Just doing a face reveal and saying, hey, look, I'm not an ugly cunt. There you go. Now what's your next move?
I'm pretty.
Your move, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I did. I'm all like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing, and I mean, there's a certain level of like empowerment that comes from it, because the last thing you ever want to do is feel powerless. And anyone who tries to lord that over your head, like if that particular alien individual, you know, is as bad as everyone I hear stories of. I don't know the guy personally, but I've heard a lot of stories that are like, and nothing is ever good.
Yeah.
You know, and then
when I saw that happen to McCog, I was like, that's it, dude. No more. I'll be nice to you. I'll talk to you, but I'm not going to open up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fans of mine that don't want me to do a face reveal. They like the avatar and they like the mystery. So if I'm going to do it, it'll probably be on someone else's stream or something like that. That way, those that don't want to know don't have to know.
Right.
I do want to do a face reveal, and because this isn't something that I don't want to hide behind the monkey forever, which I love my monkey. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I've had people tell me, don't do it. I like
not knowing
monkey. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, like I did a bunch of stuff that my name and face were out there before doing Monday Matt. So like, I mean, if you kind of want to like equate me to someone like the whole Coach Red Pill thing, I mean, like I get both sides of the argument where it's like his information was technically already out there. Someone just put it together. I mean, at that point in time, it's
not that hard either. Like he's got his company end of his YouTube, and just one simple Google search, you find it, and then you search that name on YouTube, you find him again because he's been in the public spotlight.
Well, I mean, like when I first dropped my info, there were people on Twitter that were all like, "Oh, they were going and looking at my old stuff, like finding," and even some of my old like acting videos from like 2007 get recirculated every once in a while, and I'm just like, "All right, man, like, hey, I'm glad. If anything, I'm glad you fuckers are watching. Yeah, you're making fun of me, but you know what? People out there are still seeing it, so I really don't care."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about. I did my stream on the matter, and that was it. I'm not going to.
I saw that. Yeah, it was a good stream.
Yeah, I saw you in the chat, man. Thanks for watching.
No, that's why I try and get around and watch, because I don't normally go out and do the live stuff and that. But I thought, this year I might just do it and get out there and say hello.
It's kind of where things are going right now, and it has been for a little bit. People like the live interaction, and it's pretty cool. It's like, oh, we can, the four of us can just get here at middle of the night on a what day is it? What day is it? Is it Wednesday? Now it's Thursday, I think.
Going into Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go for
7:30 Thursday PM.
Yeah, okay. Dude, honestly, with her and with working from home, I don't even fucking know what day it is anymore.
So I started doing a live stream like from America, it's morning. It's like 4 or 5 in the morning, but it's just every Tuesday. Get out, and I've got a bunch of Aussie Patreons, so I do a live show just to chat with them for a couple of hours, and they love it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much fun talking to people. Actually, let me real quick, because I saw. Let me check a couple more super chats. There's been some super chats that have come in, so I do feel like I don't want to ignore people real quick. Okay, so we have another one here from Jack Barnhart. Jack is a frequent supporter, very good guy, so he's cool. He says it's 2:50 a.m. Got to calm down. Listening from now on. Okay, because that was after the whole hammer me Jarbo thing. And then Neto Hikari says Matt needs his own porno. And question for the vet: how did you ace the ASVAB? So that would be for Magog. How did you ace the ASVAB, Magog?
Fucking ASVAB ain't that hard. I didn't even study for it.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. It's like basic, like kind of like common knowledge, right?
Yeah, well, it's broken up into 4 parts. And basically, like, whatever you excel at will determine what jobs are available for you in the military. So there's like the general knowledge, which is basically like if you passed high school and you paid attention, you could pass it. And then there's like mechanical, and then there's like the engineering section, and so on and so forth. And whatever you do good on, you do good on. And then if you don't like it, go back, study, and take it again. And there are study guides out there, but I mean, it's really not that hard. I think the SATs when I was in high school were harder than the ASVAB was.
I never took the SATs, so I don't know. I never did it. I would probably fail it now, though, to be honest. Okay, we just got another super. Okay, so Reverend Satan here says Terminator 2 was good at showing realistic reloads of firearms and mostly realistic ammunition capacities. It's also a movie about the value of human life, because back when we were talking about like Long Kiss Goodnight and that sort of thing, I guess, wow, we're behind. I do apologize, Reverend Satan. I agree. I think that the way that James Cameron handled it with Terminator 2 was pretty good.
That was a damn good film. It was one of my favorites. I enjoyed that. Kid.
See, I'm not a fan of T2 just because T1 was so gritty and perfect the way it was, and then T2 comes out and it was such a polished movie, it just killed the franchise for me.
Yeah, you're like
I don't know, man. I mean, you can still watch Terminator 2 and be satisfied. It's when you jump over to Terminator 3. However, I will say that Terminator 3's finale was very bold when they did that. When they nuked the planet at the end of the movie, that was.
Yeah.
And if anyone's going to go spoilers, it came out July freaking, I think, 9th, 2003. So
you cannot stop Judgment Day.
I only remember
it
because it came out the week after the first Pirates of the Caribbean. That's how long I worked at movie theaters. That way back then. I've done this shit for a while. And then so then Jack, another $2 from Jack saying about Madison here, saying, "Oh, she reached Super Saiyan already." Her hair is always so spiky. It's always so spiky. And everything. Oh, look at her. She's just like she's chilling. She's just chilling. She loves it like when I hold her. She'll usually calm down. That or I toss her in the car seat, go for a drive, and she's out like a light. And then we got one here just recently, Donut Dog 23, and this is going to be, I think, for all of us here. Hey, did you guys already talk about the Sargon leader skeptic shit / drama? No, we haven't brought it up.
Sargonites.
Sargonites. He wanted everybody to use the I guess label liberalist.
Liberalist is the term,
yeah.
and I think it's because the whole concept like of the skeptic community, it's a term that nobody really likes.
I didn't think his video was bad. I just don't think we should have that particular word.
That's why I'm thinking it's got to be Sargonites because it makes more sense.
If we have to go with Sargonites, if anything, only just to piss off Christy Winters.
Oh yeah, that too.
Just to do that, like I'd be down for that. Like I want Christy. Here's the thing: I want Christy Winters and I want fucking Steve Shives to come to VidCon because they gotta represent. They gotta represent, and they'll have their a Kate anti-Sargonite or whatever is a new punk rock shirt or whatever, and just because I want to see that shit in fucking person because I think they're that.
I don't understand those two.
I don't get it either. I mean, she seems like a switched on girl.
I think they feel like that is that's her arch nemesis essentially, and so it's a symbiotic relationship in their mind. In reality, it's not, but.
Yeah, I get that, but is it because they are so vitriolic towards Bering and Sargon? Because other than that, you go over to their channel, right, and you look at their actual content, it's really crap, and they don't even have that high sub count. And not that that's really that important, but how did they get so much attention? Well, I wanted to do a response video to Christy Winters as Magog, and I couldn't sit through one of her videos. She is like a human fucking Quaalude. I fell asleep.
She is. I've watched a bunch of her content because she has a real she's like a human Quaalude. I love that analogy. That comparison. That cracks me up. But I also but her voice, in essence, at the same time, is also very very calming. And however odd that is, it's just the way she's
very well spoken.
Oh yeah, no, I give her credit. The thing is, it's as much as I don't like Coach Red Pill, I really like his production value. So
his production value is great.
I just love the way I've actually been seriously looking at all the cameras I have going. I could totally rip that off.
You could do that, yeah.
I could do that too. Fucking this rip off CRP and shit, man. But no, I would give him massive credit. I'd give her credit for being a good speaker. Even people that I don't like, I'll give credit if they do something well. I think.
Even Kevin Logan, I think he's a very well-spoken person, but I just don't like what he preaches.
Kevin Logan, when he tries, I think, to be well-spoken, it's when he's trying to be crass and insulting. Then he loses me
come across
because he doesn't have the vocal ability to drop those kind of bombs. Imagine that dude in a freestyle rap, and it would just be the most spaghetti dropping thing ever.
He tries too hard. It doesn't come off natural. It's bad.
That whole video when he's trying to call shoe on head armored skeptics cum bucket. I'm like, dude, at this point, and then he's denied saying that. He's since apologized for it, but originally he denied saying it. And yeah, I mean, at that point in time, you're going all right, dude, at this point you're trying just too fucking hard. You're British. Swearing and insults to you should go together pretty freaking well.
Depends
not
on
as good
type
as
of
the
British.
French, because that's like wiping your ass with silk.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
British, he's got a few personal things that he could be saying that no one really uses in America. That would sound awesome because
I
of where
know.
he's from, but
It's
he doesn't use them.
it is. I think it's just sometimes he does his thing, and I have, I'm not a huge Kevin Logan fan, but I ultimately have nothing against the guy. Like, he's going to do his thing. I think a lot of people
I've got
calm
nothing
down.
against him. No, I just think he's really well spoken. He could be doing really well.
But what was it?
But
I mean, with those people, like the whole skeptic, or no, the atheist convention or the atheist conference.
Oh yes,
that whole clusterfuck. I mean, like the fact that
that's a tech, isn't it?
It fell apart. I watched Bearing's video on it, and I was laughing my ass off.
Oh yeah.
So
well, I think what do you guys think it's because they because of the way they think, their ideology and everything, it is contradictory to being entertaining and funny? Because I swear to God, sometimes I look at the stuff that like progressives post out and I'm like, they're just not funny. They just don't know comedy.
When you take everything off the table, it's really hard to be funny. When everything can be an offense, it's really comedy is inherently offensive at some point because you're laughing at something.
Someone's going to be offended.
Yeah, when you take offense off the table, it's hard to be funny.
Right, and comedy oftentimes comes from a very dark place.
Yeah.
And that is going to be, I mean, I'm talking darkest of dark Africa, the dark continent type of dark place.
You're talking like some Wakanda shit, right?
Yeah.
Wakanda,
motherfucker.
The
way. We've circled back around to the Knuckles.
but back to Donut Dog's question, the whole Sargon thing. I get what Sargon was saying, and I what it is you have to understand. A lot of where we are now, I guess you could say, in terms of like the skeptic community, does stem a lot from the early days of Gamergate. In terms of these, I don't want to say cult of personality, but just these personalities that have grown. And like you look at someone like Medicare, you look at someone like Sargon, and they're both looked at as leaders. They're both looked at and valued as such, as having important opinions because their words carry lots of weight. Without they differ entirely on their ideology of how to express this. Jim just wants to shitpost, and that's fine. He wants to muckrake. That's entirely fine. Sargon wants to take the fight to the people, and he's been trying to like not get involved as much. But this last year, 2017, entirely, if you think about it, he went to VidCon. The whole Anita thing happened. Mythos Milwaukee happened. He went to, I think, one of the protests in fucking Berkeley. He held his own event in London that sold out very quickly, where Count Dankula showed up to do This Week in Stupid Live, right? Like, so he's gotten a taste of reality and or real life IRL, stuff, and I think that's part of it. And he also, I think, realizes that and I heard him say this on the gym stream last night, or that conversation was like they are in fact in Europe, in the UK, they are silencing speech. And they're doing it in Canada, and we talked about this last night, Magog, a little bit. And they're doing this in different places, and it's horrendous, it's horrible, it's shitty,
it's very scary.
It's a reality though. So fighting back in reality, in real life, has to be, I think, the next actual step. That's what Sargon's saying. Now, the liberalist title, he even said in his video that it's just a term until something better comes along. Now, if someone wants to sit there and trademark Sargonauts, I'm down with it. I'll wear a fucking shirt. I
need this to be Magogonites, guys.
Magogonites. How about
the love of God, worship me?
No, my issue with Sargon's thing is not what he's trying to do. I understand that, and I think you're right, Matt. It's got to go real world eventually. But the reluctant, I'm doing this because people are forcing it on me, which is what came across in the Louis Lebeau stream that he did that was him and Medicare. It's almost like I don't really want to do this, but people are forcing me to, and that's the wrong reason to get into it, in my opinion.
Well, I think he said it the wrong way. I think people want him to get into it. I think he's wanted to get into it. But you also have to, I think, as just on a personal level, you have to get to that fuck it point, right? Like, and that fuck it point has to happen. And I think given all the shit that's levied at Sargon for everything is just part of it. And then also the way that he handled the Richard Spencer debate is not his best. He didn't handle it his best.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he went in there basically completely dismissive of Richard Spencer's ideas, and I feel like ultimately you can be, because they're, you know, I think they're dumb, but in the context of the debate, he should have handled it with more seriousness.
Sticks rocked it though.
Sticks fucking brought it.
Sticks
Fuck
was
yeah, Sticks
amazing.
brought it. Like, I am not the biggest fan of his, because I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but I listened to him there, and like the way he composed himself and the way he did it, like I was actually like legitimately bummed that he's not going to be in Phoenix in April. I still hope he shows up in order to hang out with people so I can meet him, because I want to. And that's the whole thing, is basically like, I think we're at a point now where you look at the alt-right, you look at the advancement per se, or of the conservative viewpoint on YouTube, our platform, our home, and how it's grown in 2017, especially since Trump was elected. And then the ideas espoused by the fringe elements, the alt-right, those kind of guys. And there has to be a pushback. And the pushback in the mainstream media is just to label them all white nationalists and Nazis and all of these things.
That doesn't get us anywhere.
I don't think they all are. I really don't think they all are.
No.
But it's, again, they're going to have these ideas that are going to be needing to be discussed. Like when they got into the whole race realism discussion, like that was a clusterfuck.
Yeah, but another
it's
thing
interesting
we have
to listen to as well.
Yeah. Another thing we have to
agree
do
or
is,
don't.
Oh, sorry, Sue. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I think there was a
I was just
delay.
saying. I was just saying it was interesting to watch. Whether you agreed or disagreed, it was just interesting to sit back, listen to the opinions, and that's what I like. That's why I follow so many different people. I don't always agree with everyone, and I'm sure they don't always agree with me.
Right.
But if I don't listen, then I don't get to know their views.
Sure.
I mean, I can come across harsh and, cruel as well, but, that's just the way I'm doing the avatar, you throw it out there more.
Some people.
But that's why I do my live streams too, like to show people I am chilled and laid back as well. There is another side to me.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think another important thing too, in order for any of this, like ideas for like that Sargon had in that video, is we've also got to stop all the fucking infighting. That's not helping the fucking situation.
I think it will eventually run its course. As I saw a couple tweets today from Medicare that I feel kind of summarize it, and he was saying like, "Oh, people didn't show up to fight. That sucks." And it's like, yeah, you might get it one or two times, but it's not going to be an everyday thing. Right. And so it's kind of like if you start trying to make it the norm, then it's going to burn out a lot faster than you think. Ultimately, I agree. The infighting needs to stop. It's not productive. It's more annoying than anything else. I just really hope that people realize that and don't just go, "Oh, wait, hold on. This drama can fuel subscribers or growth or money." And that's what I'd like to see personally. And I try to avoid as much of it as I possibly can. It doesn't always work. I fuck up a lot.
No, I do too. And you guys know that I didn't even really want to do that stream last night, but it had to stop. My name being dragged into this shit constantly had to stop. But on that note, I'd like to ask you guys a question individually. You guys can each answer your, individually. But what do you guys think it's going to take to fight this machine? I mean, because like Sargon was right. They have like embedded themselves in academia, social media, fucking mainstream media. They own the companies. They own the corporations. This ideology is just like really pushing. How do we fight that? That's a massive machine to take on.
It's the best way I've been able to look at it has been it's just going to end up being another generational shift, right? It boils down to the idea that when I was in high school back in the 90s, that is when we first started seeing the gold star approach. Oh, you showed up to class today, you get a gold star. You wiped front to back, you get a gold star. You did this, here's a participation trophy. No child left behind emotionally, so to speak.
Right.
And we started seeing that, and I started making fun of that for years. And we also got to remember, too, that in the early 90s, there was a really big, there were SJWs in the early 90s.
Yep.
Right.
They've always been around.
And then when did it go away? Around the late 90s, around the start of the new century and everything else, the turn of the century. And then we had a couple glorious years. The Chappelle Show, I mean, for crying out loud, was like the top comedy on TV.
Right.
And it was very racy and everything else. And people like that content. South Park's been, prevalent for 20 years now, 21 years now. So
fuck your couch. Fuck your couch.
That's a great story. I'm just saying it more or less boils down to the concept here that it's on a shift. Everything is going to, or it's cyclical, right? And so we need to, I think, start prepping for when it ends. I don't know when that's going to be, but ultimately always come at it with truth and facts and logic and reasonability, because these kids are going to eventually go into the real world. These college kids that, that freak out on every little thing, and the world's going to beat them down. But unfortunately, right now, where we're in this state where they're not really being knocked down as much. The safe space mentality is going into the real world, and that's pretty damn frightening. Like, I'm going to try to raise her with as much logic and reason as I possibly can. Someone had made a comment earlier, like, "Oh, what if your daughter becomes an SJW?" Well, I'll love her anyway. What's the saying? Hate the sin, love the sinner.
Right. What about you, Suit Monkey? How do you guys answer that question? How do we defeat this thing that has been growing since the 90s? I mean, it's powerful.
Well, it even goes further than that. Being older than you guys, the birth of the modern social justice movement was the political correct idea that you can't laugh at jokes because they might be racist. Because if you laughed at that joke, that meant you were racist. And that is where it all started. And the only way to really fight that is to point out the ridiculousness of it every time it pops up. And it is a slow battle. We've had this explosion of SJWs over the last few years, especially starting with Gamergate. That's where it like really hit mainstream with, actually TV shows doing Gamergate episodes. Go fuck yourself. It's got to be a slow build up the same way. The liberals of the 60s is where the academics of the 80s came from. And it was a slow buildup. It has been a slow thing that has been going on for decades. And we're not going to just turn it around immediately. Matt's right. In a way, it is a circle of life kind of thing, because we're almost back to our Puritan roots at this point. You can't laugh at anything. You can't. It's ridiculous where we've gotten to. But we are starting to see a slow shift. There's already polls out showing that Gen Z is more conservative than these whiny little shits will ever be. So it's happening. The problem is we can't stop. And I've seen so many people. Oh, we beat after Trump. I fucking lost my mind because I saw so many people. Oh, we're winning. We're gonna switch and we're gonna turn and fight the alt-right, who nobody even gives a shit about. Literally, nobody gives a shit about, other than the media using them as a scapegoat when they want them. Meanwhile, the SJWs are still controlling everything. You just have to keep plugging away and pointing out how ridiculous this nonsense is.
Right?
No, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think
what's your answer?
I think the pendulum can only swing so far to one side before it's going to come back. And we're in the YouTube world, the online world, so we're seeing a lot of this. But if you step outside your door, you don't really see this nonsense. And so I think when the general public starts seeing this crap, they're going to turn around and stand up. And that's when it's going to fall down. We're going to say, no, we don't like this shit either. And it might be a bit too late when laws are written, but with the majority of the people against it, when they see it, not just online, but out in the real world, they'll turn around and say, fuck this shit.
Right.
So I just think that's what's going to happen. Eventually, it's going to make its way to mainstream, and the majority of people are going to say no.
Well, I think
that's just my feeling.
Right. Well, I think personally, I think we also need some sort of fundamental change in the internet. And I'm not talking about net neutrality,
we still got
like that. I'm talking about alternate platforms need to actually become popular.
Well, that's happening now. So we're getting slowly the alternative platforms. We're also getting, our own stories out, our own, viewpoints and stuff. And a lot of people are tuning into us versus, say, the Young Turks. You watch their show, they've got like the live show and there's 50 people watching. Yet they got millions of subscribers.
Like 4 or 5 live shows in a day. Their main show will get about 12 to 15,000 people watching. They do get a lot
not
of
a
people.
huge amount.
It's not a huge compared to 3.3 million that they have subscriber count wise. But even if you look at like the amount of subs that they have versus how many views they get per video, we got them all beat hands down. And the thing is, they know that.
I think, we just keep doing what we're doing, point out stupidity of it. You know, logic, facts, reason. Whether that's, showing the actual facts like what Sagan does, goes into detail, or just someone like me that says you're a stupid cunt. Just do it as you do it, and more people will tune in and see the stupidity of it. A lot of this
you were
stuff
on the same page with that one. I'm more of an entertainer.
I think music and entertainment is a way to get into the minds of people. That's what's happened throughout the years, whether it's, usually it's music, but now it's online entertainment. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing, being entertainers. It's got to change at some stage. We'll still point it out. We can see that it's working its way in more so, I think, in America than over here. But what happens in America generally, because it's worldwide YouTube and online, the rest of the world seems to adopt. That's a bit of a problem. So we just got to keep pointing it out. This is stupid. Don't do it.
It's just really crappy that YouTube will geo-lock certain videos depending on the topic. That's some horseshit right there.
So what's you guys' prediction for 2018 YouTube?
Oh dear God, I couldn't even guess at this point.
I was kind of hoping they would have fixed up their crap by now, but it hasn't. It seemed to continue.
I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to look to see what's going on. I'm doing everything I can this year to learn the platform as much as humanly possible. I'm trying to become YouTube certified right now. I'm trying to learn everything that I possibly can in order to figure out how to get us past this next situation. Cause it could be, look at it. We're only 10 days into the year, 11 days into the year. And we've already had a huge scandal that last year would have crippled so many people for months, and we don't know if we're going to feel it. Cause YouTube acted, granted it took them 11 days, but they still acted, and I haven't heard of any advertisers pulling out. Now that could change tomorrow, that could change. But at the same time, it's like I think they understand where things are. And I think they understand what they're trying. I think they're trying to get us back to where we all were in 2016. I think they were caught themselves between a rock and a hard place. I don't blame YouTube for everything that's gone wrong in 2017 because they were essentially kind of caught blindsided by that Wall Street Journal thing on PewDiePie. But even that was a lead in from the British government pulling their ads out because of extremist content. And then they overreacted as a way to try to right the ship. And we've all just had to play their game. And, but the thing is, more and more creators are speaking up, and they're getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And they're beating down the doors almost at any little thing now. And I think that's going to keep them more in check. But I stand by this, and I will stand by this until it happens. Susan Wojcicki has to go.
Yeah,
definitely. Even if she's used as a scapegoat, just get rid of her.
Yeah,
I think I'm happy with that.
A better person. I think she's led the platform astray. And I've been called a sexist because I say that. You just think she's a woman. I'm like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. If you can't lead the company properly, if you keep making these judgment calls, if you will, that are going to come down. Because here's the thing, this whole fucking the monetization shit, limited ads, they were impacting our channels for months, for at least all of July and August, until I think the end of August is when they announced was it early August or end of August when they announced the review situation?
I can't remember.
But it was
about that time.
It was about that time. But either way, throughout the month, because you talk to most people who do this full time, and they'll tell you that the apocalypse started for them in April, and all of April was shit, and then May was shit until halfway through May, and then May picked back up again, and then June was fucking awesome for most people, and then July hits and it goes down to fucking zero. I mean, the nosedive. I can tell you this: I lost out about 65% of my revenue from this
I believe it.
from last year to this year, and it's I mean I can get by and shit for the most part, but it's like it's just insane. It's fucking insane how bad it's
For
gotten.
most of us, the only good thing that's come out of this is that we've got Patreons that want to support our channels.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, YouTube, it doesn't matter. You're not paying us. Our supporters want us to keep going.
Yeah.
So that's really the good thing that's come out of it.
Well, and I feel bad pushing Patreon. I honest to God,
I don't. Yeah, I hate
doing it because I love the idea of AdSense because then we're all everyone knows what they're getting, right? There's like hidden behind a paywall.
I agree.
And as much as I appreciate the super chats and I appreciate the patrons, and I really honestly do, you guys have no idea. It's just like I'm just not a fan of the system. I like it when it's a straightforward. We know what we're getting. You know what you're getting.
Yeah,
that's that. And I have a feeling we will one day get back to that the way it was in 2016.
So too.
It's just going to
take some time.
Take some time. And then people, the thing is, though, YouTubers, this is the big thing. There's an article on Adweek that I was going to do a video on today before the Logan Paul thing broke, but that talked about Logan Paul. And they said that basically Logan Paul proves that YouTube will never be at brand safe. And the thing is like brands need to pull their head out of their ass and realize that this is where content is. This is where eyeballs are. You can't deny that.
That's right. And
you know,
you look at stuff like Walking Dead, you know, how many adverts are playing on that? And then you've got things like McGog. It's like, well, that's, you know, a scary thing too, but people are watching it. Why not advertise?
I've never been called scary.
We're not children. You know what I mean? No, like,
right, but mature content, there's nothing wrong with that. How do we live in a world where you're not allowed to watch some guy dressed as a wizard curse on YouTube, but you turn around and look at fucking Game of Thrones being the most popular show on earth?
Absolutely.
How the fuck we live in that world?
The difference there is that Game of Thrones is put together by a subscription-based model. So
yeah, but who wouldn't want to advertise on that?
Dude, seriously, I know. Fuck, like they had what 45 million viewers or something on like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. It's not about the ads; it's about the viewers. There are people out there that enjoy mature content.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones proves that. Spartacus proves that. That ain't nothing but fucking and fighting in Spartacus. And it's
I love Spartacus.
Fucking great show.
Fucking season 3 finale was one of the best shows ever made. Our best episodes ever. Just but yeah.
You better take a break for super chats, Matt, because I see.
Yeah, I know. There's building up right now. Let me I set Madison down. Let me double check. She's awake.
Yeah, Matt, you were talking about a paywall, and it's like I don't look at the patrons as a paywall. It's like you don't have to support them. If you do, it's fantastic. I don't try and give rewards per level. If you donate $1 or $100, I will shout you out.
I need to get back on my page. I keep forgetting to do patron streams. I feel fucking horrible, but most people talk to me on the Discord, and I'm pretty open and accessible. So there's that. So I don't feel as bad. But okay, so we covered the donut one for Sargon Leader Skeptic shit. We spent a lot of time on that, but it's a good topic, great topic. So thank you for that, Donut Dog. Gaming Jones says, "What do you guys think about Margaret McLennan? Do you know why she's been treating her fan base so poorly?" I know Margaret. I've known her for a while. I haven't seen her be mean to anybody. I know she's been, I know when it comes to her, and I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with her at all.
I honestly don't know who that is.
Yeah. Oh, she's Margaret's Belly on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I'll post a link to her thing in the side chat here. I could fucking find it. God damn it. There it is. Fucking. But yeah, this is a Twitter account. So Margaret, I've known Margaret for a while. Okay. She worked with Milo quite a bit in Gamergate. Early days. She was working on the privilege grant with that. She was handling all of the day-to-day stuff, and then like she lost control, lost access. And she at this point has basically kind of become, I want to say, like anti-Milo and anti what she considers to be kind of opportunists. She's very conservative, super conservative, and she looks at people like Joyvia and Milo as being basically, in my opinion, and I could totally be wrong, but it's based on what I see, is that she has looked at them and gone like, these people are just simply in it for the money, not anybody, and she calls them out. And so keep in mind that going against Milo fans on Twitter is a hard thing. Because he's well liked, and I like Milo a lot, but I criticize him on a lot of things too. She, on the other hand, is very, very much anti-Milo because I think he screwed her over pretty hard, from my understanding. So there's that. I don't know if you guys have anything to say on that one, but we'll jump over here.
I don't know who it is, so I don't want to speak on it.
So I can't
so
speak on it.
Reverend Satan says here, we all know Steve Shives is salty because Christy wears the Sargon mask when she pegs him. I could, she's in Germany too, isn't she? I could see her getting into some of those German Scheisse films.
Oh yeah.
You know, pops on the Sargon mask and just calls over Kevin Logan.
Oh God, just rock me to sleep, why don't you?
Okay, then Jack Barnhart says, last super chat, like the curtain you put up, less clutter. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's why I put up the curtain. I have a mundane mat when I ordered. That will be coming next Friday. It could suck. I have no idea. It's expensive.
That guy probably would hate my set.
Yeah, what it is. Okay, so like we have a 3-bedroom house, and it's like this is my office, but it's like this is where all my shit goes, and it's basically like my room without a bed, and like you see like my dressers. That's where my clothes are. It's the baby stuff. It's a weird situation. I need to go and build out on my property, which means I need to make more money. Let's see here. Okay, so Donut Dog says it's okay. Can you clarify this? He says here it's like our equivalent of SJW purity tests. Got to keep the centrist pure, comrade. I'm not entirely too sure what he's referring to in that one. I wonder
if he's talking about the infighting.
Possibly, yeah.
Like I brought up infighting.
That would probably be around that. They give me the timestamps, but that was like 20 minutes ago. Reverend Satan says, as a regular nationalist, I have to say that any form of ethno-nationalism is one of the greatest danger America faces. Is far too divisive. And I agree. I understand that ethno-nationalism is going to be a big problem. If they ever actually achieve it, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. No matter who does it too, because it's not even.
I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah, it's not even like the Nazi alt-right types, the hardcore alt-right types. It's on the left too. They want to create a society that's based on, skin color, rate, and gender and shit, instead of like merit. That's dangerous.
It is. Both sides are very dangerous.
Both sides are dangerous.
It kind of frightens me. But the thing is, though, if we were going to sit there and talk about like a civil war, like an identitarian civil war, like a legit, people taking up arms and stuff, lefties are fucking dead. There's
Riley Dennis picking up a fucking weapon.
Like what is this? It's a gun. Oh, I don't like guns. Yeah, but those people have guns. They know how to shoot them. They're coming for your ass right now.
Yeah, I'd love to see some like hardcore Antifa.
Well, there's a
down to Arkansas. Go right ahead.
There's a video on YouTube. I think it's called like why black people wouldn't win the race war or something, and it's by a black guy, and he kind of, I forget, this is one of those old YouTube videos, but he goes through kind of point for point why he feels that black people would lose if there was a race war, and a lot of it comes down to just preparedness. Like I often bring up the idea that if you look at Michigan, for example, you've got Dearborn, Michigan, which I do believe at this point is like the largest cluster of like Muslims in the United States. They basically took over the whole town because Michigan is just a shithole. And they took over Dearborn, and that's been a problem for some people. But then you go to the top part of the mitten, and that's where you've got the Michigan militia, and these fuckers are like doomsday preppers almost, And so it's like if they got into a conflict, if they decided just randomly one night they wanted to go through and have their own Saturday night massacre, these people in Dearborn would be a prime target and probably would not survive as much, because they wouldn't. I'm just saying, I'm not like hypothesizing or I'm just saying it's like this is where we find ourselves. People who don't feel like they need to be prepared because we live in the land of the free and this kind of thing wouldn't happen here, versus those that do and are. And if they wanted their own ethno state, if they wanted to take it by force, if they rallied enough people together, they could probably hold it off for a while.
Yep. Well, what was that? The Admiral of Japan, or like that during World War II, where he said, or was it the Emperor? I can't remember who said it, but the famous quote is, "No army could take mainland America because there'd be a gun behind every blade of grass."
Yeah, I mean, there's more. Isn't there like there's as many guns in this country as there are people? So
no, there's only about, well, registered firearms, there's about 14 million, I think, or 17 million, something like that. But that's a hell of a lot of guns.
it's a lot
A
of
lot of
guns.
guns. A lot of guns.
I mean, and if one person owns one gun, you know they probably own more than one.
I have
Yeah.
32.
That's not even talking about the military. That's just your average citizen.
Yeah, those are registered civilian firearms.
Yeah.
That's not even the army.
Come fuck with us, North Korea. See what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yamamoto. Thanks, Kenley. Yamamoto. That's who.
There's a lot there that's gone on with this, but let's jump on to the next one here. Okay, so Donut Dog here says, do you think Disney's purchase of Fox is going to ruin Deadpool the same way Disney ruined Star Wars?
No.
Not initially, but eventually, yes. You can't stop progress is the saying that would work well in this regard.
Disney's become too powerful.
It has, I agree. But the thing is you have Bob Iger, who's currently the CEO of Disney, who's brokering this deal for what, 50 some odd million or billion. And he says that he doesn't want to change Deadpool. He likes Deadpool the way it is. And it's almost $1 billion movie. I think Deadpool 2 is going to be $1 billion movie. $1 billion R-rated movie. Disney's not going to want to fuck with that. However, Bob Iger extended out his contract to 2021. And so if he steps down as the head of Walt Disney in 2021, and the next person comes in, looks at Deadpool and says, you know what? The movies have done really well, but we really want to try to find a way to homogenize him in the next Avengers movie. We're going to start kind of toning him down. Then that's where it's going to start, because that's what's going to happen. Eventually, that's where Deadpool is going to be.
Let's hope not, but yeah, I can see it happening too.
Unless they move it to television or something. I mean, like, it's Disney. Disney likes money, but Disney also is just, they're all about the branding. They're all about the brand recognition, and that's going to be a big thing.
Which is weird, because if you look at Disney as a company, they have their public image, but as a company, they own hundreds of other businesses and studios. They own porn studios. You know, they're a mothership to a lot of fucking companies.
Yeah, but this is superhero movies. It's not going to be like fucking running Miramax and Touchstone back in the 90s. You know,
right,
where they can produce Jefferson in Paris, where Nick Nolte basically fucks for 2 hours. And then, you know, well, it's an art house independent movie. I remember when that controversy hit. I remember that when I was younger, and I'm reading the newspaper and they're like, Disney's producing smut. And I'm all like, tell me more. You know, I'm like, I'm at that age. But let's see here. Okay. So then Donut Dog also says, is putting on a Black Panther hero outfit while being white as bad as blackface or digital blackface? So,
you know, that's going to be interesting come this Halloween. White kid in the Black Panther suit.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say to a little white kid who's like, I love Black Panther. I want to be Black Panther. That's supposed to be positive, right?
It should be, yeah.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
But knowing SJW types, they're going to be like, no, but you can't be Black Panther. You're white.
That's racist.
That's racist.
A lot of this shit, I don't think they truly believe. I think they're looking for a way to get some, 15 minutes of fame, or make a clickable ad, like article that makes money. So we'll do some fake outrage on something that will get clicks.
And that's, I mean, if you think about it, and I'm just being completely honest here, we all kind of do that. Like we have to make a legitimately interesting title. It has to have a thumbnail, and
we're not doing fake outrage,
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
No, there's definitely like I think there's varying levels of faked outrage. I think that there's in some cases, like anything involving hurting children, outrage by all means, fucking from the roof.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there are some things where I've seen people get worked up over shit that it's kind of like, are you really worked up, or are you like, pushing this thing in order because it's going to do you well? And I think that it's a fine line that we walk, to be honest with you. Like there are times I will agonize over the fucking title of a video. I will just agonize over it. I'm like, I don't want it to be too clickbaity, but I also have to make it interesting enough for people to click on it.
But you also have to worry about
point though is that you're still making the content you actually believe in, whether your title's clickbaity or not. When you read the articles with these titles, I mean, they're still, I mean, it would be little white kids are racist because they're wearing this. It's basically blackface.
Yeah. I think that'd be an interesting experiment to send a white kid dressed as Black Panther to Comic-Con. At Comic Con though, dude, pretty much everyone there is chill as fuck. Like no one cares. Like, you know, you go to New York Comic Con and they're like, cosplay doesn't equal consent. And you go to Comic Con and like in San Diego where 150,000 people are, and everyone's just like, people back there fucking man. Like no one cares. Like no one cares. No, it's too many people to give a fuck about for that whole thing.
Is
but
that
yeah,
Spawn fucking Lady Death over there? Oh, I gotta get a picture of this.
Oh, I heard. I did hear. Speaking of Lady Death, well, not Lady. I think just Death herself in the Marvel context. They are going to be introducing Death into Deadpool as well as probably the Marvel Cinematic.
That would be interesting
because eventually, you know, they're going to cross over because the Thanos and Deadpool are going to have to fight.
But what's weird about that is, isn't she essentially a god?
Yeah. Yeah, but isn't that, I mean, in the comics, isn't that why Thanos goes in this whole fucking like Infinity Gauntlet crusades? Because he wants to like, he's literally trying to court death. I think they made a line about that too.
I can't remember. I haven't read like every single comic book known to man. So.
Neither have I. I just know what people. I just know what snippets I read on Twitter.
I just can't wait for the Dark Justice League because that's going to have John Constantine, and he's my favorite comic book character.
Did you like the Keanu Reeves movie from 14 or from 13?
I actually did. I just thought every time somebody asked me that, I said I love that movie. It's actually a good movie, but it's just not John. It's the American John, which I'm okay with because it was a good movie, but that wasn't John. He needed his trench coat. He needed his cigarettes. He needed to be British.
I thought, I saw it a lot when it came out because we had it at my theater, and I really, really liked it. I even like Shia LaBeouf in it too.
Yeah, because he played Chaz, and that was kind of a minor part. He wasn't like center stage. And I'm not going to lie, I've actually liked Shia LaBeouf movies. One of my favorites of his is The Greatest Game Ever Played, which is about the golf, you know, like... oh,
not the fucking Capture the Flag. Okay.
No, that was The Greatest Game Ever Played, which is odd because the Capture the Flag thing. But yeah, I love that movie. I really do. It's a Disney film, and it's based on a true story about the U.S. Open.
Okay.
You know,
Holes was good.
Back in the Depression era.
Quite a bit. That was a good one. Yeah, he's done a lot of interesting. He's done a lot of interesting movies and everything. I really liked Fury. The tank movie in World War II.
Yeah,
that I thought he was good. I thought fucking John Bernthal was really good. Logan Lerman was good in that movie. David Ayer did a good job directing that movie. People for Suicide Squad. I'm like, go fucking watch Fury, man.
I really can't see John Bernthal as anything but Punisher now. Like I went back and like just, you know, because I hadn't seen the first like Walking Dead season since it came out, and I was like, I need to refresh. And I started watching it, and I was like, well, the Punisher's in Walking Dead. Like I can't get him out of it. He is typecast, in my opinion, now. That motherfucker plays the best fucking Frank Castle.
I like that a lot. I wish it had a little bit more violence per se, but I feel like the story was really good, and it was a good. I like the relationship between Karen Page and Frank. I thought they did a good job with that, and I'm interested to see where they take it for a second season. Because here's the thing with this Marvel, with this Disney purchase of Fox, right? The reason why they're purchasing Fox is to get content to put on their streaming service in order to combat Netflix, right? And so that's why they're spending all this fucking money, and it's actually a wise move if you think about it. But also, you know, Netflix. Oh, what's she doing? So Netflix. She's just fussing. Okay, I'll pick her up here in a sec. But Netflix is going to keep renewing all of those Marvel shows basically until the end of time, because that's going to be their subtle fuck you to Disney.
Right.
Yeah.
You got any more super chats? Because I'm probably gonna have to bail. It's
217 here. I got one from Isaac Clark saying, if 2018 starts to repeat 2017 for YouTube, do you think there will be a vote of no confidence for Susan? I'll turn it over to you guys first while I grab the girl.
This is how democracy dies, with applause.
Probably not. She's still so far liked within the company, and YouTube's never been a great moneymaker for them, so she'll get away with it for a while.
Well, yeah. I don't know if they'll get rid of her too, because she also has a card to play. She is a woman in a tech industry.
Yep.
Technically, that didn't work for Ellen Powell with Reddit, so you know,
but she was really bad.
She was super bad. Oh my god!
How this YouTube TV goes. if this YouTube TV starts failing, she might be out.
Yeah,
No, I think YouTube TV is going to actually do really well.
Do you?
Like my dad is like super excited to get it whenever it comes to this area. And a lot of people are because
to have.
Oh, sorry.
Wouldn't it be better to have Netflix and Disney instead of just YouTube TV?
Well, the thing with YouTube TV is, I mean, people like watching as much as people like watching or binging shows and having access to it whenever they want, which they do. You're never going to fully do away with live broadcasts, because even look right now, we're live. There's 250 people that are watching, and this is something that people probably won't want to watch after the fact, right? It's just it's not that we haven't had a good conversation. We absolutely have, but there's a certain magic that's out of it. But if you watch, if you watch something on TV, oh, what's wrong? You got the hiccups. If you watch it on TV, though, and you can tweet about it or talk about it with your friends through water cooler the next day, it ends up being a bit different of a scenario. So I think YouTube TV is going to do well, also given the fact that 2 to 5 million people a year are cutting the cord in this country. So,
we're going to see a shift, whether the mainstream media like it or not.
I hope it doesn't do well, but that's my hope.
You're just a fucking you're a grumpy Australian. So
it's just YouTube for me is about ourselves broadcasting ourselves. TV, I've got TV. I can get any other TV I want.
Well, even with YouTube TV, it's never going to do away with that. It's just not. It's because here's the thing: is like, what is she doing? Okay, sure. Like eyes are wide open. A lot of it though is going to boil down to, like, okay, put it to you like this: people who watch a TV show they want to watch, right? Like, let's say it's Simpsons. They watch Simpsons Sunday night, 8 o'clock, and then after that, like, okay, well, there's nothing really else on that I want to watch, or I'm already caught up. So I'll just pop over to YouTube and see what everyone else is up to, and people aren't going to be able to, they might watch, YouTube TV on the go, but if they don't get the DVR access like Hulu, then they may not watch, those 20-minute shows. They want short bursts of content that they're going to, get to know from their favorite creators. And that's like, the thing is, we're not going to go away. People aren't going to stop watching with YouTube TV. It's just going to be maybe a little bit of a shift in the process.
Right. Well, on that note, I'm going to call it, gentlemen.
All right.
Because I've got filming to do, because I finished my script tonight. And like I said, I'm sorry I'm late on that suit, but I got sick.
Oh, no, mate. Your health first.
Yeah. So, but my voice is back, and I'll be filming tomorrow.
And family first.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah, so I hate leaving people waiting on me, though. So I do feel bad. But I mean, these things happen. Cool. It's just this weird Arkansas weather. The other day it was 19 degrees. Today it's 60 and raining. It just
it's been hot as hell over here. Some of the states in Australia are getting 47 degrees Celsius and shit.
Damn. That's fucking hot.
Yeah,
it's fucking hot.
I only know
it's like 40 degrees Celsius from like when I had a hot tub. So, I know it's 105 degrees Fahrenheit with 40 degrees Celsius. That's pretty crazy.
So, they're burning while you guys are freezing.
Right. It's just that quick shift, though, when it goes from cold
to Trump's fault.
To cold.
Everything's Trump's fault. Magog's called Trump's fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zeph Doxson Magog, Trump's fault. I'm just
everything on Trump. Bastard.
God damn it, Trump.
God damn it.
Anyway, I appreciate you having me on, man. Matt, it's always good. Madison, lovely to meet you finally.
Yeah, she's here. Look at the camera. Look at the
She's
camera.
so cute.
Plotting to take over the world.
She's so cute. She's so adorable.
Say good night. And Ranting Monkey, always a good time, my brother.
And nice talking with you again.
Yeah, and Suit, I'll hit you up when I'm done with that footage. So
no problems when you're ready.
All right, man.
See you later on, dude.
Yep, you guys have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
We actually got another super chat in here from this is for gamers. If you guys are gamers, Go to Dude asks, random question: what is your favorite classic FPS game, like Doom, Quake, or etc.?
Man, I've never been a huge first-person shooter fan. The only game I really had a lot of fun with in first-person shooter was Day of Defeat, the mod for Half-Life.
Okay.
otherwise, I'm not a big fan of them. I find them a little bit too linear.
I think, yeah, I get that. I get that. For me, growing up, I played a lot of Doom, a lot of Wolfenstein, and a whole bunch of, like Blake Stone, which preceded both of them, but no one ever talks about that. But I would say probably if you want to talk classic, because at this point I would argue that it is the first Halo. It's a 16-year-old game. I mean, that's a classic in my opinion, and I've played the fuck out of Halo so many times. Oh, come here.
Yeah, I never played Halo. Didn't mind the old Wolfenstein and Doom when it was out. Back beyond the years.
Oh yeah, they're all a lot of fun.
Yeah. But yeah, more Warcraft and stuff, back when it was vanilla. And I know vanilla's being classic. Warcraft is coming out again.
I've never played.
That's a little bit scary. That's no, you don't do that. Suits you'll go away and no one will see you again.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Wait. You've never played Warcraft?
I've never played World of Warcraft. I've played Warcraft 1 and 2. I never played number 3.
Oh, 3 was excellent.
I know, that's what I hear. I do own it. I've just never fucking played it. And I might have to give it a shot because I know my brother likes those games. I haven't even played StarCraft 2. That's it came out at a time when my computer couldn't run it. And by the time I could run it, you know how it is. You're just like, it's old.
Oh no, I spent about 7 years playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. But yeah.
Yeah, see, for me, it's always been about like Halo and everything, because that's what I played with my friends. So
I've always preferred role-playing games. I just do.
Have you heard about the Deliverance Kingdom Come, or Kingdom Come Deliverance, whatever it's called? The new one coming out next month?
No.
Holy shit. Like fucking RPGs, dude. This is from a Polish developer who is also pro Gamergate, by the way, like Daniel Var or something or another. But look up Deliverance Kingdom Come or whatever, and just watch some of the fucking walkthroughs. Like it's gonna be fucking huge, and it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One and PC and shit, and looks phenomenal on PS4.
Cool.
So
what are you playing right now?
I play I got an Xbox One X because I had a lot of shit to trade in, and I got PUBG on it. I was playing PUBG on Xbox because I want to see how it is. I also played on PC, and then I'm working on Assassin's Creed Origins, which is the thing is I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. Oh, what's that? What are you doing? She's just
always visualize you doing the Minecraft.
I've never played. I've only played Minecraft twice.
I've just got this vision of you building.
No, yeah, my autism doesn't come into play on those games. Mine comes in for GTA 4 or something, and how can I fuck with the NPCs? Because that was something I learned. In GTA 4, you can actually get somebody arrested or shot and killed by the cops.
Oh yeah,
it has so much fun. This was just so much fun. But yeah, I mean, I haven't played much. It's been difficult to play, to get any good time to play. I thought about playing PUBG tonight, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking throw up a live stream and kill time until I got to go take care of her. Not knowing she was going to wake up and
be wide awake for daddy.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't look tired at all, dude.
She passed out for a little bit. She passed out. I think she sucked down about 4 ounces, and I think she used the bathroom. I can smell it. So
gotcha.
Let me go and change her. I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
No problem.
So fucking talk amongst yourselves and answer some questions.
So what have you been working on, Suit? I have not had time to even watch very much YouTube. I've only caught whatever's trending on Twitter. What's been going on in your world?
Well, I've got a new song in the works. It's a collaboration with someone else, that does the singing. That's going to annoy a certain little alien.
Nice.
I've got a collab with Magog coming. I've been doing the Last Jedi review, but I've had some real life things happen that I've needed to deal with. So things haven't come out as fast as I want. But
Oh man,
you got that.
I've only made like 2 videos in the last 2 weeks, and I feel lazy as shit. I just haven't had either time or opportunity.
Hmm.
Like in 2 hours, my granddaughter will be here, and I'll be with her all day.
Oh, yeah, no, that's like when the nephews come around.
Yeah, it just doesn't leave any time for. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy spending time with her, and she will always win out over YouTube. But yeah, it makes me feel
Absolutely.
lazy as hell.
Hmm.
Hey, chat, what questions do you have for our Australian friend here? When in doubt, I always go to the stream chat and have them ask questions because it's a great way to get content. Let's see, did we have any other questions in here?
No, I saw
Scrolling through.
KOTOR 2 roll up a moment ago, and yeah, I did play KOTOR and KOTOR 2 and Jedi Academy, all that kind of stuff.
I loved KOTOR. It was just a little too linear for me, having to run back and forth through the same city
Yeah.
instead of them just kind of lumping the quest together. KOTOR 2, I thought was a better gameplay experience, but the first game was a better story, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever punched a Roo?
No, I haven't.
What part of Australia are you from?
From or where am now, I'm in regional Queensland now.
You have a big ass country, but people generally just live on the outskirts, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much as big as the US, but we're all around the edge. There are a few towns in the middle, where you get your serial killers,
Mhm.
like Wolf Creek.
Have you ever like driven all the way across?
Yeah. Neither, mate. Ford or Holden, neither. In
Suit,
my
how are
little
things?
cheap Hyundai.
Reaver of Souls asked Suit, how are things shaping up in Aussie with the Islam row? Last I heard, they were still pushing for Islam in schools. Is that even true?
Yeah, they're doing a lot of shit. See, I've moved to regional Queensland to get away from a lot of the big city crap that's happening. So, I mean, I tried to get some meat from the butcher in Brisbane. Every fucking butcher sells halal. So it's like,
man.
fuck that. So, moved out to regional Queensland. That's with a local butcher and you can get meat that's not halal. And then they laugh at you and they look at you like you're the problem. It's like, no, I'm not the problem, mate.
You're the weird one, damn it. What have you been enjoying on YouTube lately?
What have I been enjoying on YouTube? I've been watching this younger guy that's doing reviews on movies and stuff. But he was going on and on and on about The Last Jedi, which is funny.
I still haven't seen it. I after watching Rogue One, I decided the next Star Wars movie, I'm waiting till it comes on DVD. So
yeah. Well, the last article this guy read was about how we're just not intelligent enough to understand the story of The Last Jedi. And it's like, no. And then there was another one about we just don't like it deviating that far. And I'm thinking, no, that's not the problem either. It's that your storytelling to get to those points is missing. If you want Luke on an island that hates things, then give him a good story. He's not going to try and kill his nephew, but there's a story there to tell that would be friggin' awesome.
Mm.
So it's to me, I don't care where they've gone with it. It's how they got there.
So, Evan Coker asked me, Medal of Honor or Call of Duty? I actually like both, but I think Call of Duty wins at least up until Modern Warfare, just because they told better stories.
I'm allergic to cats, so cats make good shark bait. I'm a dog chap.
You're allergic to cats? That sucks.
Yeah, I know, it sucks.
I love cats. I'm definitely a cat person. How mannish are Oz women? Oh my god, they're women. They're
how mannish. It depends on what type of woman in Australia you're looking for. If you're looking for your white trash bogan, then yeah, they're pretty feral. They're pretty out there. Yeah.
Have you seen some farm girls in the U.S.? They're pretty mannish.
I thought the US farm girls were supposed to be nice,
It depends on the
according to
farm girl.
movies.
I mean, if you're looking at the
Pornhub tells me that they are.
yeah. If you look at the ones in porn, they're cute and they have the little pigtails. Yeah, no. Real farm girls can pick up 3 bales of hay and throw them across a yard. They're huge. They're
Okay,
big
and they've got
beasts.
flat underarm hair.
Mhm.
Right.
They are beastly women. I love them. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
$2. Thoughts on tack being canned? I only recently heard about tax, and I find it amusing.
I think it's funny that it was because of Steve Shives. I think that's funny as fuck.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that the big pushback against the Atheist Conference TAC came because Steve Shives was not only involved, he was given free reign over his YouTube panel, which he just filled with all of his like-minded friends, and people had a problem with the one-sidedness of it, and that's where it all started to unravel, which is funny because fuck Steve Shives.
Gremlins all the way, although I love Critters and I own all the Critters movies as well as all the Gremlins movies, and I hope there's a third Gremlins. However, in this day and age with the social justice shit, feminist shit, I don't want there to be a Gremlin 3 just yet.
I loved the original Gremlins. I didn't like how 2 went a little too tongue-in-cheek about it all.
I loved 2. Yeah, I loved it.
It's just so silly. I have a special...
That's the whole point. I loved it.
Gremlins is one of those... I was, God, how old was I? Maybe 9 or 10 when that movie came out, and I loved Gremlins. Like, it was my thing, and then when I saw 2 so much later, it was so different. I was like, no. So, yeah. I like 2 for what it is, but I don't like it as a Gremlins movie.
Jedi Outcast was good.
Oh, Jedi Outcast was awesome. Jedi Academy wasn't bad, but yeah, Jedi Outcast is my favorite of the series.
Yeah, Jedi Academy was good because of all the maps and, you know, getting on there with different people, servers. But Outcast was great.
On TAC, you mean without diversity of thought, people wanting discussion were unhappy. I know, shocking. Yeah, it's amazing.
Imagine my shock.
I just don't see how. Okay, and I'm going to go off on a little rant here. I don't understand how, if you're putting together a conference, you want Steve Shives as one of your main people. He cuts off everybody who disagrees with him, even if they don't disagree with him, just because they know somebody who disagrees with him. For fuck's sake. Do you know how many people I follow on Twitter that I don't agree with at all? Yeah. So, I mean, the idea that you're going to ban a whole bunch of people because of who they followed is moronic. It's just stupid.
V8 or V6. I've never been that much of a car person. I want 4 wheels and fuel economy. So something that gets me from A to B. I don't need fucking loud noise.
As long as it runs, I'm good. Yeah, never been a car person myself.
Neither. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love, you know, the nice looking mags and tinted windows. You know, I've got the tinted windows because of the heat and all that.
But
other than that, that's as far as it goes.
The only thing I do have to, like up here, every car we buy has to either be 4-wheel drive or front wheel drive, because otherwise you get stuck in the snow and that's not fun.
Fair enough. Snow, yeah.
Have you been to the Calgary gold mine? I'm assuming that's for you because I've never heard of it.
No.
What would happen to pro wrestling if Disney buys WWE? They'd be up there fighting about racism.
Humans versus Goofy.
Do they desalinate the water where you live?
What do you mean by that? What?
Take the salt out of the water.
What are they putting in there? I don't know. We've got tap water. It tastes fine. I don't know what they fucking do to
it. Apparently, that's the biggest gold mine on Earth.
Okay. Yes, I have been to Kipperpee.
Okay, I'm back.
Only lesbians would win. Welcome back.
We spent 5 minutes talking shit about you. I hope that's okay.
Oh, that's fine. I can always rewatch it later.
Now we're talking with your chat here, so.
No, I think there was one about the atheist convention being canceled. But if anyone wants to know an update on what happened, oh yeah, it was bad. It was she was clearly uncomfortable because she was very dirty.
Oh yeah.
So right now she's just kind of looking at me like, thanks. And I don't know if she's gonna fall asleep or not.
Thanks for sharing that with the world, Dad.
Yeah. Hey, be glad I didn't change you on stream. No, that would be, I think that would just be bad. I can imagine the articles off that one. YouTuber Monday Matt changes daughter live on stream. Clearly this is a sign of the patriarchy. fucking patriarchy. But yeah, that the thing is, like, I had to go and like put her, we have her room with a changing table, and then we have another changing station that's by like the TV. So it's like I had to like, it's just, oh man, I mean, you need like 2 or 3 of everything when you're a new parent.
Here's what you learn about being a parent, and this is absolutely true. When you have your first child, you want to do everything right. We had a changing table. We had, everything you're supposed to have for a baby. By the time the third one came around, it's like, you know what? We can change him on the floor in the kitchen. That's fine. It'll be nothing. There's no reason to have him.
No, I understand that completely. Like I'm the eldest of 7, so I've been around kids most of my life, and you get like that. But I think it's like, we're both in our 30s, so it's kind of like it's not as bad in some respects as like someone in their 20s, like their early. Oh, what? Okay, let me grab her.
No worries.
Tyrion says, Tyon, I have so much problems with pronouncing people's screen names. Well, I've seen an ad on here with a woman breastfeeding, so changing should be fine. Yeah. Matt would end up finding himself as Shane Dawson later. He showed a naked child on stream.
You sexualized your baby. Did I change her? You didn't cover up.
The thing is, if it was a woman, you can guarantee it'll be fine. It'll be no problem.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, I wonder, like, when I'm walking around with her, like, as we get older, is there going to be looks like, oh, a dad with his daughter, like,
There will be. There was something on a few years back on Today Tonight, which is in a current affair type program here, and they tested a man standing at a public pool watching, and within 15 minutes, someone came up and security said, "What are you guys doing?" and blah blah blah. But when it was a woman, totally fine.
Yeah, I know. So, and they say sexism against men doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I know. I'm all like, I'll be honest though. When I found out we were having a girl, my first thought was, oh, good. She wouldn't have to grow up like being chastised for her gender because she was, and I know like that.
I wanted to ask you about, if it's all right. Every time I'm, chatting about you or saying, if I'm Matt and, because you give both views, there's always someone in the chat that says, oh, don't you know about Matt and this thing that he did he's a pedo. And I'm like, what the fuck is that about?
Oh, Jesus.
This is what they keep going on about. And I have no idea.
All right. So I can explain.
It's obviously a story that they've taken out of context.
All right. So earlier, okay. So
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I don't know about it.
Yeah. All right. So it's the summarization, the TLDR of it is I covered a story back in around March or April of last year where a 19-year-old girl had been arrested for being impregnated by a 14-year-old boy. And so she had shot a homemade porno with them. That was part of the trouble she got in. And I didn't really comment much on that, but I was asking, I said, I don't know how to feel about this story. Mostly because, like, they're in Alabama. The age of consent is 16. His parents were clearly fine with it. Like, is there going to be things like, are things about her going to be brought up in terms of the sentencing? She faced like 20 years in prison for it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if 20 years is like, these are teenagers. Like these are just teenagers. That's like more or less where I'm at. And so what it was is because apparently I didn't show sympathy for the 14-year-old enough is some people got upset about that. And one of those people actually happened to be Dave Cullen. And so Dave did a response video to me on that. And that's kind of what caused this to happen. So he made his video, and then what you have is you have generally the wave of people who were like, they didn't go back and watch what they didn't go back and watch my full video. They watched what he had snipped together.
Just a snip. Yeah.
And then they started saying like, oh, Mundane Matt is a pedo supporter, or he's a pedo apologist. All of these things that are clearly not true. And so it's like, there's a lot of that. Now, the thing is,
I've never found, you to support pedos in any way.
No,
so
I don't.
What the hell is going on
don't
there?
Support pedos at all. Fucking. But it's more like, but that happened a lot, because this is again what happens. And so I kind of was pissed off at Dave Cullen about this at first. And then I knew he was going to VidCon, and I was like, oh, God damn it. Like I was kind of getting psyched up to like have to have words with him over this.
Have that confrontation. Which
I didn't want to do. And then beforehand, him and I buried the hatchet. But I still was like, okay, fine, we're fine. I just want to go have fun. I'm just not going to talk to him. I'm just not going to talk to him at all. Ended up getting drunk with the guy like the first night there. And we started talking and started hanging out and having a good old time. And the subject came up, and we talked about it, and I explained my train of thought, and I maybe didn't convey it well enough. And by the end of the convention, he turns to me and he says, hey man, listen, I'm really sorry about that video. I didn't know how you were coming at it. I'm going to delete it. And I'm like, look, dude, I get you don't have to delete it. Like, I appreciate the sentiment. I don't want you to delete it if you don't want to delete it. It's fine. I'm good. Him and I are friends. Like, I'm glad we're friends. We met, we became friends. That's good. He actually ended up deleting the video. And then some other guy comes out and like makes this whole fucking video attacking Dave for deleting the video he did about
the video. Jeez.
And I'm watching this thing going like, but you like, for one, like, Dave deleted the video, and then the guy was all like, well, something must have happened because Matt did a guest video on Dave's channel when Dave's mom died, because Dave asked me to do a video for him. And I'm like, yeah, no, dude, totally. You're my friend. I'm fucking so sorry your mom died. I got your back, no problem. And that's the whole point, is kind of like, people can change. People can talk about issues and work them out, and they don't have to do it through internet blood sport or anything like that. And that
it doesn't have to be public.
It doesn't have to be public, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. But the thing is, because of that initial video, and because people some, I don't want to say his fucking name because I just don't want to give him any attention. One particular person has made many videos or a couple videos accusing me of that. And then he likes to delete those videos and then delete his channel and then re-upload those videos to another channel, therefore re-indexing it in Google and everything else like this. So I get notifications, Google notifications for that. And so like all of a sudden I'll get a new one, and it's all like, oh, this popped up. I'm like, God fucking damn it. Because that's just the way some people are. And like, I can't stop the dude. He has his opinion. Fine. But the problem with that is people don't, they don't ever come to me and ask me about it. They just immediately call me a pedo supporter and expect that to be, a valid argument for anything. And it's like, all right.
No, I get it. I mean, I've nearly been 2 years on YouTube now, and so many things I've said have been taken out of context when it's quoted, and it's like, what, are you kidding me?
Really?
Or because I'm in Australia, I'll say something that is, meant something over here, but it's taken differently over there, and I'll have to re-clarify myself.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah.
And it happens. The thing is, not everyone's going to not going to espouse it in the proper way that everyone's going to get. There's always going to be a miscommunication somewhere. No one is perfect, and that is the way that it goes.
We're all human.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. Like the thing is, at the end of the day, Dave and I worked it out. Dave and I are cool, and I hope to see him in I know he's not coming out to Kilroy, but I like to see him coming out to VidCon if possible. And so like, that's fucking cool. Like I think he's a good dude. So like the thing is, people make up shit all the fucking time. You'd be amazed at how many lies I come across about me. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, people will just.
The last one I saw was about your video, and Matt killed someone, and it's from your video that you made.
Oh yeah, that fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah. So 10 years ago, actually. Oh no, it was almost 11 years ago.
I went and
made a movie.
Film. It was all right.
Yeah, you watched it?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We made it literally in 2 days. It was
But
like
most people
proof,
wouldn't go to that extent. You know, they'll just watch what they've clipped.
yeah. And but the thing is though, and the reason why I DMCA'd him, and it's not a false DMCA, as he likes to try to claim that it is I went to him and I said, hey man, listen, this is taken out of context. This is, my movie In Search Of. I'm not Mundane Matt. This is before Mundane Matt. This is before all this shit, and it's not accurate. Would you be willing to at least add the name of the movie and the link in the video description? And I asked him that, and I asked him that, and he, which is a very reasonable request, and I told him, like, Google will index this. If someone Google search Mundane Matt, they're going to come across this thing saying Mundane Matt kills someone, and that can have a negative impact on me down the road. Because whatever. And so he was being kind of a snarky cunt about it. And I'm like, dude, I will DMCA this. I have no problem.
Yeah.
I'm asking, and he kept not doing it. And so I fucking did it.
No, I followed that whole drama.
Yeah, but then now he still runs around and runs around and makes the claims like I fucking DMCA'd him for no reason. I'm like, I wanted you to treat my copyright fair. And I looked at that video, and it's all you needed, mate, was just a link to the actual video instead of me having to find it myself. Exactly. Exactly. And so it's
some credit.
It's one of those stupid fucking things where you're just like, oh god damn it. But the thing is, the reason why he's really upset is because Mr. Medicare had in fact taken it. And he uploaded the clip originally, or he clipped it, and I didn't do the same thing to Jim. And I'm like, well, Jim, we talked about it with being a movie. I could at least add in there that it was a movie underneath it so people would see it. So I'm not too worried about that. But because Twitter doesn't necessarily Google index your name. That was more about what it was about. And I asked just for clarification. That's why I made a video when it was over saying, here's why I did it. Here's here's proof why I did it, and that's that. So.
Yeah. I've noticed you get more shit than most anybody I follow.
Yeah, I get a lot of it.
I see that too.
Fun. I know. I get that a lot. People go, man, you get so much shit. Like, why do you get so much shit? And I think a part of it is the fact that I'm not trying to fight a culture war in the way that others are trying to fight it. I tend to keep to myself for the most part. I just do my own thing, and I've had some successes, I've had some failures, absolutely, but for the most part, I just there's a lot of people
from Kilroy, what some of the in chat said is that a lot of it's from Kilroy, and I disagree.
That now I don't even.
I'm still willing to chat and treat you civil and all that. I might disagree with you going, but.
No, I saw your video on it, and I don't.
Put your head out, look around, what's going on, and I'm hoping down the track, if it's a fucking shit show, you'll do a video on it, and that's what I'm hoping.
No. If I here's the thing: if I go and I booked my flight yesterday, and everything else, and so if I go and it turns into just DashCon 2.0, and we have a ball pit full of fucking piss, I'll be like, okay, well, this is how bad it went. But at the same time, I've been open about this. My view on it is there are multiple cases of the reason why it needs to exist. And I don't know everything that Base Mama's got planned. I don't know the full final schedule yet. I do know it's coming, and I'm hoping that it's a success. And I'm hoping that if they do another one, or if they're able to do another one, that they're able to, right a lot of the mistakes that they made this time around.
Yeah, I don't know if it will be a success. I hope it is, but whatever it turns out, I hope at the end of it, afterwards, and when you can talk about it, you will talk about it.
I've signed a non-disclosure agreement. I've signed.
Oh, okay, I thought you might have.
No. I've signed an appearance agreement. That's it. I have not signed an NDA or non-compete, and Base Mama knows that if I have opinions on it, because I have been vocal with her about my own misgivings with the way things have been handled and so on and so forth. And so, but the thing is, we've talked a lot about it, and there are things that hopefully will get sorted out. And if they don't, and it completely goes to crap, then I'm going to have a really shitty weekend in fucking Phoenix, which to be fair,
I don't know if it will, because there will be a lot of people going. Even I think maybe Andy's gone and some of his fans are. So
Yeah,
there's going to be
I don't want to.
people
Yeah,
there.
I'm not even going to want to deal with that shit. So
I'm just saying, there's going to be people there anyway. If it does go to shit, you can go to a bar and have a drink with a few fans.
oh yeah. No, I mean it's. I have
I only hope.
I have
Yeah,
IRL friends in Phoenix. If I
Yeah.
really feel the need to like get away, I could call my my best friend growing up and be like, hey, let's go to Hooters like old times, or just cruise around through Tempe near the Arizona State University and like check out all the chicks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my hope is at the end of it, you'll just do a video explaining exactly what's gone down and if it was a success or not.
Yeah,
what I've seen in your content, you usually always do. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, Mr. DJ Fly High here, he did say this while I was out changing Madison. He had said thoughts on TAC being canned, and that's obviously the atheist conference. We did mention that a little bit earlier, but in regards to Kilroy compared to the atheist conference, which is just funny that the two events were happening kind of at the same time, or it's being planned. It's okay, baby, it's okay. I got you. I gotta probably log off here in about the next few minutes. I gotta go feed her. She's
not a problem anytime.
Yeah.
That's what's good. She's getting that on. She's like, oh, I shit myself and you cleaned it up. Now put more food.
Feed me.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. But ultimately, the thing is, Steve Shives tanked the atheist event, as far as I can tell. With his attitude and with the way he was going to do things, and also, I think them doing it at the Roosevelt Hotel in downtown New York City or in Manhattan is just like, really? You think like you're just that's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money. If they said Kilroy was happening at New York in that place, I don't think I would. Like, I'm not going. like it's too freaking expensive. But I think this is a problem with these kind of events and letting cult of personality take over.
Yep.
And when that can happen, it can be a bad thing, which is one of the reasons why I do feel that in regards to what I know Andy wanted Kilroy to be, that can still happen. He wanted basically just a shitlord VidCon. And the reason why is at VidCon last year, when we were all there having a grand old time, we just more or less wanted an excuse to get together again and get drunk. And then invite more people and make it a big thing. I know Magog wants to eventually, when he builds out his studio, if he buys this like 20-acre lot that he's looking at, he wants to do this big couple day event just on this property, invite everybody out. And I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun, and I'll be there in a heartbeat. And that's kind of the next phase of it is what we had originally talked about with Kilroy, or I should say what we had originally discussed at VidCon concerning where to go next. I had pitched the idea, and I still stand by this, of taking a few people and jumping in a van and setting up, meet and greets around the country and talk about YouTube and talk about the whole situation, kind of what Sargon's talking about now, but make it like a 2 to 3 week event and travel to different parts of the US and meet people and then have those discussions. And I think that'd still be a good idea and a lot of fun. But when Dave and Base Mama left VidCon, because they left, I think, a day or two early because Dave wasn't feeling well. They left, and then they came up with this idea, and that was what they had spent a couple weeks working on. When they first told me what it was, I was like, oh, that's not at all what I expected, but I'm okay with the concept and everything else. And we are where we are now, but I still have high hopes, and I'm gonna, if it tanks out, I'll fucking tell you. I swear to God, I'm not looking to screw anyone over.
That's what I hope. I hope that you've already looked into everything that's been said as well.
I've looked at
mental notes and
I also know a lot of the behind the scenes stuff because I've been privy to a lot of that info. Which I'm just the reason why I'm not openly revealing what
bite your tongue if you need to, fair enough.
It's more like people's privacy. It's just I'm not looking to throw people under the bus. That's why I frequently state that this is a case of the right hand and not knowing what the left hand was doing is how I view it. But again, it's just, what we are where we are. There's been enough shit. I don't really want to, I know Ranting Monkey wanted to say something.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I think the problem with Kilroy is that it tried to get too big too fast. I think your idea of going around meet and greets, that's how it should have been.
Yeah.
And then if that got bigger, then you go to a huge conference. I think it was just too much too fast. And
you're probably correct on that one. You are. Like, I don't disagree.
YouTube Roadshow type thing you're talking about sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big van and just going around.
Yeah, I mean,
I think my problem with it is, all these people that were advertised on the front page, and people donated for them, and next thing you know, they're gone. That's what I'm looking at, and I'm going.
There's some stuff
That's
there
what pissed me off.
I can't talk about it publicly.
Fair enough.
It's what we've seen. I can just tell you, there's a bit more there to the story.
Fair enough.
I'm hoping that Base Mama will eventually just kind of like lay it all out and everything. But I think if I'm being perfectly bluntly honest, I think she doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus for mistakes that were made. And I respect that. Enough. And so she's taken the heat for a lot of stuff that ultimately does fall at her feet because she's the one organizing it. But it's also just kind of some dumb shit behind the scenes. That's what I know.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I still
sure
want to do the YouTube
at some stage. Yeah. But the road trip thing idea sounds awesome.
Yeah. Cause because the thing is, I'm sorry.
Like if it's from, say, for example, someone like me is, oh shit, I haven't been to the US and I save up the money for something like that. A road trip, that'd be awesome. I'd see lots of sites.
Yeah,
as well as meet the YouTubers. So
you could rent a van or something, or rent a decent sized van, and then have everyone just kind of pool their money for. Oh, she can't. Look at her. She's so cute. She's doing that cuddle because she's hungry. But yeah, if we were to like sit there and like, the way I looked at it was more kind of like, you rent a van, you get a bunch of people together. Everyone kind of chips in for like multiple Airbnbs because we don't really need hotels. Choose maybe like, I don't know, maybe 10 cities over a 14-day span. Hit some of the major cities, obviously, and then try to like make the Midwest or something. And then just do that.
Camping.
The idea
stop over and put up tent.
I'm sorry, what?
We could just stop over and put up tents and camp out.
Yeah, that too.
It doesn't have to be hotel rooms. So.
Yeah, exactly. There's actually a tour bus that does that here in the States called Green Tortoise. They travel all around the country, and you basically just like pull out the seats, and that's your sleeping bag. That's like your mattress, and then you sleep under the stars.
It sounds awesome.
Something like that could happen, and then I think that'd be a good way to connect a lot of people together. I think it would have to have like a central theme. Because
you could attach a trailer to the thing and put a ball pit in
it. Everywhere we go, we have a ball pit. That would be cool. I'd be okay with that. And everything else. I don't know. These are things that I think would be a lot of fun because I've learned that because I've met a lot of YouTubers over the course of the past 2 years, and I've learned that people. For one, audience members, fans, I don't want to say fans, like viewers, listeners, whatever, they want to go meet these people. Hence why the whole kill rate. I get what you're saying entirely.
Yeah.
I get that. And that was also a big thing with VidCon too, is people came, just to meet people and hang out, like just to do all that. And it was such a fun experience. Like we all just want to do it again.
Yeah. It looked fun except for no bullshit sleeping, but
I didn't know that was him. Like they kept saying, "Oh, no bullshit's here," and I'm all like, "Where?" Like, "Oh, he already left." Like, oh, okay. Then I heard like, "Oh, he fell asleep during the panel," and I'm like, "How the fuck do you fall asleep during the panel?" Like, Jesus, right? But yeah, like just the fact that like I got to hang out with like Lacey Green and Chris Reagan, She Won't Head Armored Skeptic, Bunty, even Argon. I mean, like it was so weird. And I will give Andy absolute credit on this one. He made a great comment while we were there. He had said, this is like a college reunion. It's not like, it's like we all know each other, but we haven't seen each other in a long time. So I feel like, there's going to be, there's animosity right now between a lot of people. I don't think I think
that'll clear over.
I think it will blow over. I think we just need to kind of let it kind of like, not.
A lot of us share a lot of fans and a lot of us share a lot of Patreons, and, it's going to clear over.
Yeah, because if not, it runs the risk of really just damaging
Yeah.
a lot of people
Well,
and everything else. Because the last thing you want is people to take sides.
Yeah, I mean, like I keep telling all my patrons, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with everyone out there to support them.
Yeah.
We've all got different opinions, so you don't have to agree.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
We've all got a common idea
I-
that we want, to push, and most of us agree on certain points.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with no bullshit a lot, but I still watch his content because I like
I'm
his
the same.
personality.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's ultimately where we have to just find ourselves is it's getting past the ego. And because there's a lot of it. And it's, I mean, I'm not saying that from a position of like, oh, I'm ego-less. Oh, fuck no, I'm an egotistical motherfucker.
Mhm.
You kind of have to be to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even, like Monkey, like, I got a question. Like, do you guys, is this your full-time gig?
Kind of.
Me?
I'm disabled actually. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that, and I'm not trying to pry in that at
Yeah,
all.
Oh no, I talk
the
about it quite
moment,
often. It's just something I don't talk about much because I don't want to be known as the disabled YouTuber.
Yeah.
I spend all my days in pain, so the only thing I can do is click on my computer.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I
it's
understand.
pretty much the same deal for me. It's like all my life I've worked, I've never relied on anyone. And then all of a sudden it gets to the point where my back just goes and it's, spinal degeneration and a few other chronic pains. And I just can't keep doing this job. So I did something else. I thought, I'll follow all these people. And I agree. Why don't I just start my own? It's like, well, I've got a voice. I may as well use it and see if people like it.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, man. I've talked about mine before, but like I got started because I was just at like, unemployed on food stamps, right? Like just ending my rope in Los Angeles. And I thought like, fuck it, I'll just be a muckraker and I'll just do that. And then somehow it just kind of kept going and kept going and kept going and turned into, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I can't complain. Like in the last year, I bought a house, had a very beautiful little girl, like, and that's all possible. My career is all possible because of this whole thing. Which is why the whole situation with the adpocalypse sucked so much because
I mean, I can tell people in my experience, it's like I've nearly been here 2 years, not yet, but almost. In the first year, I grew from nothing to 30,000 subscribers, which is fantastic.
You know how many I had in the first year? Legitimately, I had
idea.
715 by the end of my first year. And then by the second year, I had 11,000.
I'm just going to let people know about the income because I've got no sponsors or anything like that. So I can just say it, from 0 to 30,000, when my last Google AdSense came through, it was $4,000, which is 4,000 Australian, which is 1,000 a week, which is basically an average wage here. And I'm thinking, great, I found my new way that I can, support my lifestyle. And if I get bigger, I'll just start donating money and doing, charity things. And then Adpocalypse hits. And it went straight down to double digits. That's how much money we lost.
Yeah. No,
and
I hear you.
Add that to a bigger YouTuber, like this is just with someone with my subscribers count. I can only imagine how much it hurt the bigger ones.
It hurt me a lot. I made close to 70,000 in 2016. And I was looking at the numbers and estimating the numbers, which is why we prompted to buy the house as based upon those earnings, was like, I should probably make around 100,000 is my estimation for last year.
Guesstimate. Yeah.
Right. And that was like a low end guesstimate based upon how things were going. And then the apocalypse hits, and I'm not even kidding you. Like we were closing escrow on the house. The apocalypse was hitting. And as I'm packing up my office, my girlfriend comes in and she's like, I think I'm pregnant. And my response, I feel bad because my response wasn't, oh my God, that's great. It was, I don't have time for this right now. I have to pack the office and everything. And then thankfully, the apocalypse has been bad. And it's been very bad. There's been a lot of, I've been able to hold it. The only downside is for some reason, the state of Washington wants me to file my taxes by January 31st, which makes like no sense to me because I have a couple W-2s coming in that I may not even get until the 31st, you know? or whatever. And I'm just like, wait, why do you want me to? They're making me jump through hoops to like finish my business license, which is really weird. I'm just like, this is some weird shit here. But in Oregon, where I used to live, there's a 9% income tax. Here, there's no 9% income tax. So that cost me. I will say this though, to give you guys an idea for taxes, last year I spent my tax bill was $17,963.
Damn.
You guys get taxed on donations as well, don't you?
We get taxed on donations. I got taxed on.
So we don't get taxed on donations here.
On sponsorships, the one sponsorship I did that I can't really talk about until September of this year.
Fair enough.
If I'm being candid about it, I can't talk about it till then. But but ultimately is you know, like it's like the thing is like people, I don't like talking about the money necessarily, but I also feel that it's part of it. Where
I just wanted people to know because it did affect, you know, and you could start a YouTube channel, and if it went well, yes, you could live off it. But right now, it's more you've got to do it if you love it. Don't rely on the income.
Yeah,
I actually got really lucky when I started because I was just starting to make money when the adpocalypse hit, so it did not hit me as bad. Let's see, my first real check from YouTube was about $900, and that was right before the adpocalypse hit, and then it went down to like $100. So it hurt, but it not the same that it would you two. Who, I mean, yeah, my checks were never that.
Not
big,
just the money that I've looked at too. It's the growth of the channel not being advertised, not being pumped up and recommended. Like if I've grown from 0 to 30, at this point I should be at 60K. But I'm only at 32K. So there's been something in the algorithm that's not promoting and not sharing my stuff.
I mean, this last year, I only went up about 22,000 subscribers in 2017. And most of that didn't come in until the back half. I mean, like I had criticized like Hillary Clinton a lot during the election. And I think that led a lot of people to following me that were like pro-Trump, and I'm not pro-Trump.
Yeah,
I've been very vocal about that, so that cost me a lot of subscribers. But at the same time, my views do pretty well. I pull in between, roughly about 1.8 to 2.5 million views a month and whatnot. But because I'm getting so hit with demonetization, that I will say this though, I do run the movie channel. I do the $3 Theater, and I made more money on that channel during December in the last 15 days because of Star Wars than I did my main channel for the entire fucking month. And that saved my ass because we had our car stolen on Christmas night. And then flipped into a river, or a creek more accurately. So we're out of a car and I had to pay like a bunch of money for that. Our furnace broke down. So I'm like, okay, I'll get through it. Like I did okay. I can get through it. It's just
I was looking at that too, and I was thinking I could do Star Wars stuff, and then I could do a Logan Paul stuff. I mean, you look at Rubber Dorky, he's got less subscribers than me. Did a Logan Paul video, gets over 300,000 views.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I watched this Logan Paul video. I'm like,
and then he complains that it gets demonetized. It's like, well, then you don't really care about the story of Logan Paul. You cared about the views.
Well, I think the two become the issues become very conflated. Like my first Logan Paul video that did about 100,000 views was demonetized. At this point, I've made I think 93,000 views, and I made like $17 on it. And a lot of that's YouTube Red. And so it's like, they were very much just kind of like, they were knocking it all down. And then today I did the one about YouTube firing Logan Paul. And at first it was demonetized. And I'm like,
that one yet.
And then all of a sudden, I post a lot of content. So trust me, if you don't,
I go to sleep and wake up and there's 40 new Matt videos, and
that's what I do. I wait for you to go to sleep, so every morning you have a new present from it. I'm targeting you. So
hey guys, my granddaughter's gonna be here in about an hour and a half, and I'm gonna go try to catch a quick nap before.
Man, shit. Yeah, I gotta feed her anyway. Actually, I sent Wizard of Cause a link to get in, but I don't think he's gonna come on. So. We'll let him join from his phone. Okay, that sucks. But yeah, we'll have to do this again. Absolutely. I had a lot of fun.
Sure.
How long have I been on anyway? Since at least almost 3
But
hours.
yeah, I was just going to wrap up. My thoughts were,
Yeah, yeah.
because of YouTube's not helping us, my thoughts are now, because when I first started, Bering found me and did a shout out. So I'm trying to do that and keep, the younger, smaller contours and shout them out. So I'm thinking we've got to help each other and, do streams and talk about shit together, promote each other, because YouTube's not doing it.
Well, we tell our
my
audience
thoughts on it.
We tell our audience every night, support your creators by sharing them. Sharing them is so important.
Yeah.
If you like them, share.
No, I say the same stuff. It's a lot of it is the sharing. I'm trying to understand the algorithm. Like I've been deep diving into some stuff.
If you figure it out, let us all know.
I will be honest with you, it literally boils down to it's a fucking crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what YouTube is going to do. I think they put us in clusters, and it depends. I need to look more into the clusters because I went to a seminar in LA for YouTube back in October, and they posted some shit about. I got to go back and review all my notes.
Have you created a BitChute yet?
No, I haven't done BitChute. I tend to stick with like the main platforms. If I go to anything smaller,
the only reason I suggest, well, this is a thing, BitChute, you can actually link your YouTube channel to BitChute, and every time you upload to YouTube, it automatically mirrors. So you don't even have to think about BitChute, and they're going to be getting into monetization soon. So it might be worth creating one and then putting your YouTube info, so you don't have to think about it. Just let it mirror.
Well, BitMe did the same thing, I think, but
they didn't do mirroring. Unfortunately, you had to do it manually.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was my big complaint with them was it didn't put it into like a private mode or unlisted. It just auto uploaded it without the thumbnail, and I'm all like, yeah, but I got shit to do, so I'm not going to come back later on and check it.
This will grab your video, your description, your title, and your thumbnail and mirror all of that, put it into a category. You don't have to think about it. It just grabs it and does it. So you don't have to think about it. So
I'll definitely check that out. My goal, one of my goals for this year is very similar to yours. I want to do more with helping people understand the platform, because that was the big thing with the apocalypse is that there was I saw a lot of misinformation. And people that didn't quite know, and I get it, they're frustrated, so they're trying to figure it out.
Same thing. I got frustrated and angry too.
Yeah. Oh, we all did. I got fucking super frustrated. But then it's like looking at how, like I want to learn like how to help channels grow. Like I'm working on a book. Right now, I was outlining it earlier today. I'm still trying to get more education, so then I can put some good info in there that helps people kind of like, beat around the system. And I usually answer people's questions on that. I need to do that. I need to host
answered many. I've always messaged you and I've always got an answer. I've never been one that say, hey, can you help my channel grow? Give me a shout out. It's never something I've done.
No. Well, here's the thing. If you guys watching right now haven't subscribed to Suit Yourself, you should do it. Same with Ranting Monkey. They both produce good content. So that's an official Monday Matt vote of confidence. I don't know what that means.
What I'm
anymore.
saying is like, the DMs I've DM'd you, I've never, begged for anything. I've just, hey, look at this article. This is pretty cool. You might like it.
No, I mean, I think we all need to probably spend a bit more time with that. And it's it gets hard, to be honest. Like it gets harder when you get bigger, because like you want to. And I'm not trying to like say necessarily me, but like people just like larger channels in general is like there's so many people that want help, and you kind of find yourself in a situation of like I don't know who to choose because I can't do everybody.
Well, it's not only that too, is I don't know about you, but I've gotten a lot of people saying, can you help me with my GoFundMe, this, that, and the other, and you decide I could, but I don't know if that's legit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm very cautious if I retweet those things.
If I put that, if I put my name behind that in a video, and then link to your GoFundMe, and it turns out to be a fraud, I'm screwed. Especially now that I'm growing and people are knowing who I am.
Yeah, once you get to a certain point, and this is just, and I'm sure Ranting Monkey understands this entirely too. Once you get to a certain point, you have to be careful with what you say. You have to be careful.
Ranting Monkey's had a go at me too about things I've said. It's, I listen, and I'm trying to attack ideas instead of the person now. That's why the the last year, the things I've been learning is go after the idea, not the person.
Well, yeah, and that's something I think a lot of us, and that again, that's such a hard battlefield to navigate because you do take and I take there's criticisms against me that I've seen that I take like super fucking personally, and like I know they don't mean it like that, but it's like it depends on what it is. But then again, like oftentimes I get so much criticism and so much shit that it's kind of hard to. It's also hard to kind of differentiate between what's constructive and what's just someone being a douchebag.
Or even just fun and sarcasm and, having a jab for a joke, sometimes that can be taken seriously. There's been stuff people have tweeted and I've just, done a thumbs up or, a middle finger up. And I'm meant to be agreeing with what they're tweeting, but it comes across the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it's shit.
Yeah, social media.
There's so many tweets.
I wanted to point
so
this
many
out
people. I get so much hate too, and it's like you just got to let it ride off your back.
Yeah,
Magog had talked about us not attacking each other, and I do think there needs to be a difference between attacking each other and valid criticism. When me and Suit we had an argument, I never disliked Suit. We just had a disagreement, and people have to learn it's okay to disagree and not hate people. One of the things that we see in our genre thing going on right now is just the utter you're trying to destroy people. And I think that is not a good way to go. It's perfectly fine to disagree, but
no, I totally get that. All right, we got one last super chat in here from my urban exploration, asking, do you all think that YouTube will integrate cryptocurrency donation, for example, Redcoin or Bitcoin? I don't think they're going to integrate that. It just because it's such a volatile thing right now, and cryptocurrency is not going away, but who knows where it's going to be in a year, sort of thing. And YouTube likes money. She's just up.
A couple of years down the track, it might if it's stable, but I don't think it'll do it anytime soon.
Well, here's what's going to happen, and this is basically one of those things where I think it's going to impact everyone. I would say go look at like Mr. Repsion's channel, or even go look at, let's say, Tonka Style's channel when he's streaming. As much as I'm just not a big fan of Tonka right now, I'm using him as an example. She's got the sponsorship thing on there. So if you do a stream and it's got, like the thing is they're going to be competing with Twitch, and they're going to be offering $5 a month sponsorships. And so if you want to support a channel, you can do it $5 a month, very similar to Patreon. The difference between YouTube and Twitch, though, is Twitch's subs. Twitch takes 50%, so they take $250. YouTube would only take 30%, so you'd still get a bit more. So that is going to be the next thing. And once they open that up to every channel to have that, that's going to be a bit of a game changer in terms of people pushing for a sponsorship, because at that point you're really talking about a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush sort of thing.
So the sponsors is what? Just basically YouTube's way of having a Patreon.
It's going to be a way to cut into Patreon. So it's going to be like, oh yeah, if you want to sponsor, the thing is, if they were to offer, like, let's say for sponsors, and I haven't looked fully into it, so I don't know what all they offer yet, but if they offer like custom badges or custom banners or labels to people who are commenting on the videos, or in the chat that are sponsors, that's going to set up more of a, that's a benefit for the person if they want to be recognized by the creator, and that's going to be the people that they pretty much more or less talk to, especially if you have like a big stream of people and shit. So you're going to get a fair of that. I think that's going to be ultimately a good thing for channels. I think some people are going to actually be able to pick up some of the slack. I don't know if the advertising is going to come back entirely. I at this point, I'm not holding out hope that it is. I think it's going to regulate itself or steady itself off, and we'll have our good months and our bad months as is any case. But they're going to be focusing on more fan funded stuff, I think, as a way to kind of get creators to back off their ass a bit.
Yeah.
All right,
even if it comes back to
I know you gotta get out of here, man, and I definitely gotta get out of here too. So, but hey, no, thank you guys very much. Fuck Jesus, I'm tired. very much for coming and hanging out with me.
Hey,
Good
thank you for
conversation for 3 hours. Had a lot of fun. We'll do this again, definitely.
For sure.
So anyone here who hasn't subscribed to these guys, go subscribe. They're good YouTubers. They make good content. And I
Thanks, mate.
will talk to you all later.